Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. I note that the hour has come and that a quorum of this council is present. This council will now come to order. Members will take your seats. All visitors will retire to their seats outside the rails. I'm asking for all conversations to please come to a cease. Before proceeding, I'm asking all those present to please set your cell phones to silent or vibrate. Thank you. To give our invocation this morning, the chair recognizes the Reverend William C. Hamilton, Senior Pastor at First Church Worship Center. He is here today as the guest of Councilmember Young. I will ask all members and guests to please rise. Good morning.
And as we come today, we come in humility and peace. Let's quiet our spirits and thoughts as we pray. Abba, Father, oh God, we come before you today with gratitude, and we thank you for being a God of love, peace, who is with us right now in this room. We thank you for all your service in political in the United States of America, the state of Pennsylvania, and the city of Philadelphia, as well as every branch of the military who serves. Lord, thank you for putting each of us in this room today, with those who we know and those we do not know. That's called unity. Thank you, Lord, for the call you have given every member of our city council who serves the city of Philadelphia. We pray today and every day that you will be honored by all the decisions and action they do as they serve on city council. We pray for their wisdom, strength, and courage to do what is right for the good of all the citizens of Philadelphia. May city council always put the interests of others above their own interests, and may they act in love and service the common good of Philadelphia. Lord, please keep city council and all their family members safe from all hurt, harm, and danger as they serve the people of Philadelphia. Lord, thank you for our city council president Johnson, city council members, Mayor Parker, first responders, police and fire, and all those who work to make the city of Philadelphia a proud place to call home. We pray for a speedy and complete recovery of Councilman Dwight Evans. Thank you, City Council Member Jeffrey Young, Jr., for your invitation for me to pray today. We thank you for my wife being here and also some members of First Church Worship Center. We pray this prayer in the great and matchless name of Jesus the Christ. Amen.
Amen. The chair thanks the pastor for his invocation. Council will now be at ease. The next order of business is the approval of the journal of the meeting of Thursday, May the 23rd, 2024. The chair recognizes Councilmember Bass.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the journal of the meeting of Thursday, May 23rd, 2024 be approved.
It has been moved and properly seconded that the journal of the meeting of Thursday, May the 23rd, 2024 stand approved. All in favor will indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, the ayes have it, and the journal is approved. The next order of business is request for leave of absence, and the chair recognizes Councilmember Gilmore Richardson.
Thank you, Mr. President. On behalf of the majority, there are no requests for leave of absence today.
The chair thanks the council member. The chair recognizes Councilmember Brooks. The chair recognizes Councilmember Nicholas O'Rourke.
Thank you, Mr. President. On behalf of the minority, there are no requests for leave of absence today.
The chair thanks the council member. The chair now recognizes Councilmember Gilmore Richardson for a motion concerning certain legislative matters that may arise during the course of today's session of council and that were not listed on the calendar circulated prior to today's session.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that any of the following matters, if considered today, may be added to the agenda for this session of council and as required by law, subsequently published on an amended agenda after the consideration of those matters. Resolutions authorizing hearings, amendments to bills on first reading, the reconsideration of a bill vetoed by or recalled from the mayor, amendments to bills recalled from the mayor, resolutions taking substantive action to be voted on in this session, a motion to withdraw a bill or resolution that is not on the calendar, and a motion placing a bill or resolution on or returning a bill or resolution from the suspension calendar that is not listed on today's calendar. The purpose of this motion is to provide the public with notice concerning possible actions by council that arose too late to be included on the calendar that was published prior to today's session.
It has been moved and properly seconded that the legislative matters stated by Councilmember Gilmore Richardson may be added to the agenda for today should those matters arise during the course of this session of council. All those in favor will signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the ayes have it, and the motion carries. The chair will dispense with the regular order of business to recognize the guests and visitors joining us in the chambers this morning. On behalf of all members of City Council, we welcome you to our council session. We appreciate your taking the time to join us as we attend the legislative affairs of our city. We certainly invite you to come again. At this time, the chair recognizes Councilmember Young, who will present a resolution honoring and congratulating students from the Benjamin Franklin High School Building Trades and Property Maintenance Program. They will be honored for passing a 100% passing rate of the National Occupational Competency Testing Institute exam. With Dr. Kalila Canada, and those accompanying her, please join us at the podium. Also joining Councilmember Young will be Councilmember Harity, Councilmember Phillips, Councilmember Ahmad, Councilmember Gilmore Richardson, Councilmember Brooks, Councilmember Landau, Councilmember O'Rourke, Councilmember Bass, Councilmember Jones, and Councilmember Squilla. Let's give our young people a round of applause, y'all. The chair recognizes Councilmember Young.
Thank you, Council President. We're doing this resolution to show that our public schools can produce some of the brightest minds, the best students that the city has to offer. And this also shows how important that it is to have trades in our public schools. These students are being trained with a skill that they will have for the rest of their lives, and they'll be able to utilize those skills to move on to many different vocations that they choose. And so I just want to put it out there that all of these students pass the NOCTA exam, and they were trained in carpentry at Ben Franklin High School. However, I want to put it out there to the rest of the building trades, that these students are willing and able to come on board with your trade as well as you seek to expand your apprenticeship program. You should use Ben Franklin as a feeder school for all of your apprenticeship programs.
That's right.
And so today, we're here to honor these students for their remarkable task. They've worked hard, and I want to give a special shout out to their former teacher, my staffer, Conlon Crosley, who has worked entirely hard. I know he was very sad to leave you all to come to work for me on this new journey, but he is very proud of you. He speaks about you every single day. Every day, literally. So you have a champion on my staff. And so with that, we're going to present a resolution honoring and congratulating students from the Benjamin Franklin High School Building Trades and Property Maintenance Program for their 100% passing rate of the National Occupancy Competency Testing Institute exam.
Yay! Big deal.
Right, sir.
All right. For more than a decade, the Building Trades and Property Maintenance Program at Benjamin Franklin High School has provided students with the introduction to all facets of construction and
whereas students in Benjamin Franklin High School's Building Trades and Property Maintenance Program learn the basics of all tools as well as theory and shop principles for the concrete, masonry, electrical, plumbing, and carpentry trades, and
whereas these trades introduce students to the nomenclature and industry jargon to help make an easy transition into employment post-graduation into the lucrative construction industry, and
whereas Benjamin Franklin High School students in the Building Trades and Property Maintenance Program receive training and certificates in OSHA for construction safety, as well as Home Building Institute, HBI, and several pre-apprenticeship opportunities in several labor unions, including the Laborers Pre-Apprenticeship Program, IBEW Rosie Girls Pre-Apprenticeship Program, DC 21 Finishing Trades, and the United Brotherhood of Carpenter CART Program, and
whereas many students in Benjamin Franklin High School's Building Trades and Property Maintenance Program face significant external challenges from a variety of circumstances, from health issues to family problems to homelessness, and
whereas through shared grit, determination, and continual commitment to showing up, these students who entered this program as novices were able to learn skilled trades, helping themselves and each other, and
whereas the National Occupational Competency Testing Institute, NOTCI exam, is an American certifying body that tests students on their abilities to perform the skills needed in a career, and
Whereas, in the 2023-2024 school year, every senior in the Benjamin Franklin High School Building Trades and Property Maintenance Program passed the National Occupancy Competency Testing Institute exam, as well as earning their OSHA 10 certification. And whereas, this significant achievement is a testament to the hard work, talent, and ingenuity of the students of Benjamin Franklin High School's Building Trades and Property Maintenance Program, and therefore be it
Resolved by the Council of the City of Philadelphia that this esteemed body honors and congratulates students from the Benjamin Franklin High School Building Trades and Property Maintenance for their 100% passing rate of the National Occupancy Competency Testing Institute exam. And be it further resolved that an engrossed copy of this resolution be presented to Benjamin Franklin High School as evidence of the true and sincere admiration and respect of this legislative body. I want to give a big congratulations to all of the students who passed this exam.
The chair now recognizes Kalila Canada and Ryan Sizer for remarks.
I just want to say good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Benjamin Franklin High School sits at Board and Spring Garden. There we offer a 2-for-1, a high school diploma and a certification in 5 trades. So that's the place to be. Today I'm excited for my students, and I just want you to look out for them because they're going to be sitting in these seats soon. They're going to be doing great things. Great things do come out of public high schools. Great things do come out of public high schools, and I want you guys to give them another round of applause. The next voice you'll be hearing is from Mr. Ronald Sizer, who's our precision machinery teacher, our basketball coach. Last year also, he was our teacher of the year. So give him a round of applause.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Canada. Thank you, Councilmember Jeffrey Young, Mr. Colin Crosley, and everybody who made this happen for our students. This is an extremely important day for us. As one of the only African-American machining teachers in America, this is a milestone for myself, for my community, and for the city of Philadelphia. Yes. Definitely. You heard 100% a lot today, but I want to say, we also have a 100% retention rate. Everybody we sent to work is still at that job right now. So that's major. All right, so once again, thank you very much, and I appreciate everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Council will be at ease. At this time, the chair recognizes Councilmember Thomas, who will present a resolution honoring and recognizing Philadelphia Freeway by declaring June 1st of 2024 Philadelphia Freeway Day in the city of Philadelphia, celebrating the outstanding contributions of Philadelphia Freeway and his organization, the Freedom Thinkers Academy. Will Freeway and those accompanying him please join the council member at the podium? And joining Councilmember Isaiah Thomas will be Councilmember Jeffrey J. Young, Councilmember Squilla, Councilmember Nina Ahmad, Councilmember Lozada, Councilmember Landau, Councilmember Brooks, Councilmember Bass.
Good morning. I know I'm not Council President Johnson, but good morning.
Good morning.
All right, it's a little better. Thank you. Thank you to everybody for being here today to celebrate.
Councilmember Isaiah, hold on one second.
Thank you, everybody, for being here today to celebrate somebody who is a part of the fabric and the DNA of Philadelphia culture. As a 39-year young member of City Council representing the entire city of Philadelphia, I vividly remember the great impact that Freeway, State Property, that entire hip-hop organization had on the city of Philadelphia, arguably one of the greatest hip-hop organizations to ever come out of the city of Philadelphia. And at the end of the day, for us to be able to be here today to watch Freeway specifically and his influence and his impact on the city of Philadelphia, and more importantly, to celebrate him and to acknowledge June 1st as Philadelphia Freeway Day is extremely important. As we were preparing for the day, I had to go back and listen to some old albums, Philadelphia Freeway, Free at Last, right? You gotta wrap your mind around this stuff. You can't just read the bills to do your homework too, right? You gotta know the hip hop culture. And one of Freeway's songs really resonated with me, not just then but now, based on what we're going through as a city and the impact his music had. We all have our favorite Freeway songs, but on his album, Free at Last, the album concluded with a song that spoke about the emotions of dealing with trauma. The song is called I Cry. And in the midst of the song, one of the things that Freeway does is he makes himself, as a black man, extremely vulnerable as it relates to the social emotional things that we go through that often puts us in a position where we experience some type of trauma but don't necessarily want to get help. And so for me, when I think about the things that young people are going through today, and I think about some of the things that I go through today, one of the stigmas in the black community, there are many, we're not supposed to cry. We're not supposed to seek therapy. We're not supposed to say we need help. We're supposed to be these big, strong figures that forever is never vulnerable to anything. And I think his song is a testament to maybe the foresight that he had as it relates to where his journey would go and the impact he would have on vulnerable communities to put people in a position to be able to be comfortable being themselves. And that's important for a lot of us who can really relate to the idea that it's not okay to cry, especially as a young boy growing up, right? Stop that crying. You're a boy. You're going to be a man one day. You ain't supposed to be crying. That's just not true. It is okay to cry. It is okay to be an emotional young man. And more important, it's okay to use your platform to give back to people to make the world a better place. So I just wanted to start today's resolution with those comments. And I also wanted to give Councilmember Young an opportunity to communicate some of his emotions as we stand here with one of the most influential hip-hop artists that ever come out of Philadelphia to recognize him for the great work he's done. Councilmember Young.
Thank you, Councilmember Thomas. I'm going to be very brief and just say that this gentleman to my left, for a long period of my life, was my favorite rapper. Literally, every single State Property Freeway song I could spit to you right now. But it's because of the things that he spoke about in the songs. We all know rap has this stigma for being violent and all these other things, but how Freeway rapped these songs. He just told stories of things that are happening in our communities, gave some a positive message to that. And I can tell that even throughout his own personal trials and tribulations, he's always remained positive in what's going on in this world and society, and always tends to still give back to the people of Philadelphia despite everything else. So I just want to commend Freeway for staying positive and showing some positivity to our city, because as long as we keep showing this positivity, we can change the culture in our city. So I just want to thank you for that, Freeway. Thank you.
Thank you, Council President, for your leadership on this matter. This resolution was introduced by myself on behalf of the Council President, and if you know our Council President, he is always for honoring and rewarding people who are doing positive things in the neighborhood. So with that being said, we are here today honoring and recognizing Philadelphia Freeway by declaring June 1st, 2024, Philadelphia Freeway Day. Can we give him a round of applause? So, June 1st, 2024, Philadelphia Freeway Day in the city of Philadelphia, celebrating the outstanding contributions of Philadelphia Freeway and his organization, Freedom Thinkers Academy.
And whereas rap legend Philadelphia Freeway, also known as Leslie R. Pridgeon Jr., is a well-known fixture in Philadelphia's music and culture scene, celebrating more than 20 years in the hip-hop industry. And
whereas signed to Jay-Z's Rockefeller Records in 2001 at age 23, reaching the reaching the top 5 on the Billboard 200 at 24, and performing around the country before 30, Freeway has a long-standing dedicated fan base and multifaceted relevance in today's industry. Freeway is best known for his hits, What We Do, Rock the Mic, and Flipside, all popular in 2003 and 2004 and regarded as classics today. And
whereas in February 2019, Freeway received a life-saving kidney transplant, and on June 1st, 2019, at the Roots Picnic, city officials declared the day as Philadelphia Freeway, honoring Freeway with the Liberty Bell honor. Freeway is a national thought leader and subject matter expert in navigating healthcare and chronic health issues as an African-American man and a kidney recipient. And
whereas following his battle with kidney health issues, Freeway established the Free Thinkers Academy, a platform dedicated to leveraging music, health, education, and culture to break the cycle of generational poverty and tackle an achievement gap among African Americans. And
whereas Freedom Thinkers Academy provides free or low-cost community-based workforce certification programs for students and families in Philadelphia and Wilmington, Delaware, including phlebotomy, medical coding and billing, and audio and video production. And
whereas Freedom Thinkers Academy has successfully graduated 106 individuals from its workforce certification programs to date. Additionally, all cohorts of the Freedom Thinkers Academy workforce certification program have achieved 100% success rate, with every participating graduating and obtaining a required certification.
Whereas every participant in the Freedom Thinkers Academy program is carefully matched with a job, position, and provided with resources essential for their developmental success. Freedom Thinkers Academy is committed to sustaining this momentum and seeks to collaborate with key organizations in the city to extend its positive impact to more residents of Philadelphia. And
whereas Freeway's unwavering dedication to Philadelphia demonstrates through its provisions of resources, workshops, and services via Freedom Thinkers Academy is commendable and serves as a shining example of organizations fostering workforce development and enriching the lives of Philadelphians. Now therefore be it.
Resolved by the Council of the City of Philadelphia that the Council hereby honors and recognizes June 1st as Philadelphia Freeway Day and celebrates Freeway and Freedom Thinkers Academy for their contributions to strengthening the city's workforce and providing career opportunities to Philadelphians.
Further resolved that an engrossed copy of the resolution be presented to Philadelphia Freeway as evidence of the sincere sentiments of this legislative body. Congratulations, sir. You good with that, Pop?
The chair recognizes Philadelphia Freeway. No affiliate here strong today.
I'm Freeway and the place to be, see, and I got what it takes to. Yeah. Listen, I want to thank each and every one of y'all. This is a huge honor and it's a blessing. I remember taking an L and coming downtown, and downtown was my whole world. You know, I remember going to Lancaster Avenue with my grandma, and Lancaster Avenue was like the whole world to me. But now I was able to experience the world through a gift that I got from God, and it's a blessing. I was diagnosed with end-stage renal failure September 15th, 2015. I was on dialysis from then all the way to February 5th, 2019, when I received my gift of life. I received my new kidney. Instead of hiding what I was going through from the world, we decided to stand in front of it. In 2024, we turned lemons into lemonade through the will of God. Man, I'm so blessed, and I'm so honored to be standing here. I want to shout out OIC for believing in us and partnering with us early. And you know, the results are amazing. Like, we're really touching these children, these young folks in our community. I feel like the main reason all this violence and negativity is going on in our city is because these young folks don't have many opportunities. So we present them with this opportunity to take this course and to get this certification, and then we assist them in going straight into the workforce. And that's a blessing. If you have a choice versus being in the streets doing negative, violent things or getting the certification, what choice are you going to make? And I want to shout out to each and every one of them students that passed the class early. Ben Franklin, shout out to Ben Franklin. Y'all doing amazing work, and I look forward to getting with y'all and partnering with y'all too. Shout out to the community education building in Delaware. We actually have a graduation tonight at 5 o'clock. We're graduating a cohort of phlebotomy students, and we're graduating a cohort of medical billing and coding students today. We're putting the work in, and that's what's important, man. And to be honored by my city, the city that I grew up in, means everything to me. I named my first album Philadelphia Freeway, and I carry Philadelphia on my back everywhere that I go. With respect and humbly, you know, and I have a huge announcement to make, you know, being as though y'all supported me and everybody supports my organization, we're going to continue to support the city, and I want to announce Free Fest August 2024 is going to be the first annual Free Fest. I started Free Fest 2015, right before I was diagnosed with kidney failure. I had to go to the hospital, and Free Fest was probably like that weekend, and I wasn't able to obtain it or be there. So we're launching Free Fest 2024 in August, and it's going to be amazing. It's a free community event, and if you want more details on it, you can go to phillyfreefest.org. It's going to be an amazing event for the community. Shout out to Gift of Life. It's another one of my partners that I feel very strongly about, because not only am I an organ transplant recipient, I'm a donor dad. When my son Jahad passed away in 2020, and someone approached me and my family from Gift of Life and told us that he can save some lives, being as though I know what it feels like to wait for a life-sustaining organ, it was no choice for us to say yes, but to say yes. And alhamdulillah, through the grace of God, my son saved 4 lives. 2 people got his kidneys, 1 person got his liver, and 1 person got his lungs. And that's some of the amazing work that they're doing at Gift of Life. And I'm an organ donor myself. And a lot of people feel like if you register to be an organ donor, that if you get into an accident or something happens to you, that they're going to take your life, and that's the farthest thing from the truth. You know, a medical professional's job is to save the patient that's right in front of them. 9 times out of 10, they don't even know if you're an organ donor or not. They're just trying to save you, you know, when you get into a situation like that. So we have a call to action. We want to get 5,000 people to register to be organ donors. That's 1 person for every person in our area that's on a transplant wait list. And God willing, we can get to that number and surpass that number. But for real, man, this is a huge honor to me. I mean, I appreciate this from the bottom of my heart. I walk these streets. I've been in these streets. I know Philly. I love Philly. I put Philly on my back. And to be honored by my city and to get my own day in my city means everything to me. Shout out to my brother that came all the way down from OSG, my brother Dennis. That's off school grounds. It consists of 200 to 300 principals and educators. And we're trying our best to educate the young folks and do the best that we can do in the community. Shout out to the Fathership Foundation, my brother over there. We had a meeting last week with Dame Dash. He's doing some amazing work in Southwest Philly. Shout out to Purple Queen, and shout out to everybody in here that's trying to do the good work and that's trying to better our community. I appreciate y'all from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
Council will be
Oh, and shout out to my brother Ryan Press that came all the way from LA. That's my day one brother that helped me with this music thing. I love y'all.
Chair recognizes Councilmember Jones.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to take a moment to welcome Mr. Eric Williams and his son Elijah, who will be honored by a resolution today. Would you please stand? Give them a round of applause. Thank you, Mr. President.
You're welcome, Member Jones. I want to also take a moment to acknowledge State Representative-elect from the Northwest Philadelphia, Mr. Andre Carroll. Could you please stand, young man? Andre is like a adopted member of City Council because we watched you grow up doing work around this body under your mentor, Isaiah Thomas, and so we're extremely proud of your hard work. Congratulations. The next order of business is communications. The chair requests that the sergeant at arms deliver the messages from the mayor to the chief clerk. Well, the chief clerk will read the messages from the mayor and any other communications in her possession.
To the President and members of the Council of the City of Philadelphia, I am transmitting for the consideration of your honorable body a draft of a resolution entitled Authorizing the Philadelphia Land Bank to Dispose of 2839 North Oriana Street, located in the 7th Councilmatic District in accordance with the terms of Chapter 16-1700 of the Philadelphia Code. And a resolution authorizing the Philadelphia Land Bank to modify the development plans previously approved by Council Resolution 190513 and memorialized in a purchase and development agreement between the Land Bank and Mosaic Burks LP to now encompass a total of 27 residential condominium units. And a resolution approving the First Amendment to the redevelopment agreement of the Philadelphia Redevelopment Authority for the redevelopment and urban renewal of a portion of the New Kensington-Fishtown urban renewal area, identified by house number and street address as 2451 through 2453 Frankfurt Avenue, and authorizing the Redevelopment Authority to execute the First Amendment to redevelopment agreement with BMK Properties, LLC, and to take such action as may be necessary to effectuate the First Amendment to the redevelopment agreement. And a resolution authorizing the Philadelphia Redevelopment Authority to execute and deliver to the Philadelphia Land Bank a deed conveying title to 1900 East Lehigh Avenue, located in the 1st Councilmatic District, pursuant to the requirements of the Commonwealth Land Bank Act. And a resolution authorizing the Philadelphia Redevelopment Authority to execute and deliver to the Philadelphia Land Bank deeds conveying title to 1234 to 1240 South 47th Street, 3914 Folsom Street, 3935 Folsom Street, 3936 and 3938 Folsom Street, located in the 3rd Councilmatic District pursuant to the requirements of the Commonwealth Land Bank Act. And a resolution authorizing the Philadelphia Redevelopment Authority to execute and deliver to the Philadelphia Land Bank deeds conveying titles to 2917, 2919, 2937, and 2939 Cecil B. Moore Avenue, located in the 5th Councilmatic District pursuant to the requirements of the Commonwealth Land Bank Act. And a resolution authorizing the Philadelphia Redevelopment Authority to execute and deliver to the Philadelphia Land Bank deeds conveying title to various properties located in the 5th Councilmatic District, including on the following streets: Cecil B. Moore Avenue, Moore Street, North Marshall Street, North 31st Street, pursuant to the requirements of the Commonwealth Land Bank Act. And a resolution authorizing the Philadelphia Redevelopment Authority to execute and deliver to the Philadelphia Land Bank a deed conveying title to 2035 East Birch Street, located in the 7th Councilmatic District, pursuant to the requirements of the Commonwealth Land Bank Act. And a resolution authorizing the Philadelphia Land Bank to dispose of 2806, 2903, 2907, 2913, 2917 through 19, 2925, and 2937 through 39 Cecil B. Moore Avenue in the 5th Councilmanic District in accordance with the terms of Chapter 16-700 of the Philadelphia Code. And a resolution authorizing the Philadelphia Land Bank to modify the development plans previously approved by Council Resolutions 220757, 220823, and 230503, and memorialized in a purchase and development agreement between the Land Bank and West Noma Revitalization Group to include only one renovated property located at 4041 Cambridge Street in the 3rd Councilmanic District, and to permit West Noma Revitalization Group LLC to return the properties located at 759, 761, 763, 773, and 783 Palace Street in the 3rd Councilmanic District to the Philadelphia Land Bank in accordance with the terms of Chapter 16-700 of the Philadelphia Code. And a resolution authorizing the Philadelphia Redevelopment Authority to execute and deliver to the Philadelphia Land Bank deeds conveying title to various properties located in the 8th Councilmanic District, including on the following streets: Wakefield Street, Column Street, and East Worcester Street, pursuant to the requirements of the Commonwealth Land Bank Act. And a resolution approving the appointment of Richard Harris to the Board of the Southeastern Pennsylvania Transportation Authority. And a resolution approving the reappointment of Asia Coney as a member of the Board of Commissioners of the Philadelphia Housing Authority. And a resolution approving the appointment of Ben Connors as a member of the Board of Commissioners of the Philadelphia Housing Authority. And a resolution approving the appointment of Darrell Clark as a member of the Board of Commissioners of the Philadelphia Housing Authority. And a resolution approving the reappointment of Ethel Wise as a member of the Board of Commissioners of the Philadelphia Housing Authority. And a resolution approving the reappointment of Herbert Wetzel as a member of the Board of Commissioners of the Philadelphia Housing Authority. And a resolution approving the reappointment of Ismail A. Shahid as a member of the Board of Commissioners of the Philadelphia Housing Authority. And a resolution approving the reappointment of Lynette M. Brown-So as a member of the Board of Commissioners of the Philadelphia Housing Authority. And a resolution approving the appointment of Sandra Dungy Glenn as a member of the Board of Commissioners of the Philadelphia Housing Authority. And a resolution confirming the appointment of Michael Johns to serve on the Zoning Board of Adjustment. And a resolution confirming the appointment of Taya Wynn to serve on the Zoning Board of Adjustment. And to the President and members of the Council of the City of Philadelphia, I am pleased to advise you that on May 29, 2024, I signed the following bills which were passed by Council at its session on May 16, 2024. Bill number 240087-A, Bill number 240247-A, and Bill number 240281. And a resolution appointing Brianna Wilkins to the Board of Directors for the Old City Special Services District. Council President, there are no other communications in my possession.
Thank you, Chief Clerk. The messages will be printed in the journal. The next order of business is the introduction of bills and resolutions. The chair recognizes Councilmember Phillips.
Good morning, Council President. Good morning, colleagues. Good morning, City of Philadelphia. I have no bills or resolutions for introduction today. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you. The chair recognizes Councilmember Catherine Gilmore Richardson.
Good morning, Council President. Good morning, colleagues. Nothing today.
The chair recognizes Councilmember Jamie Gaudier.
Thank you, Council President. Today I have, Today I have 8 non-privileged resolutions, 7 of them on your behalf, and then 1 privileged resolution.
Thank you. Will the clerk please read the title of the privileged and non-privileged resolutions?
A privileged resolution honoring and celebrating the life and legacy of service of the Honorable James R. Roebuck, Jr.
This resolution will be placed on today's final passage calendar.
Okay. And a non-privileged resolution authorizing the Philadelphia Redevelopment Authority to execute and deliver to the Philadelphia Land Bank deeds conveying title to 1234 through 1240 South 47th Street, 3914, 3935, 3936, and 3938 Folsom Street, located in the 3rd Councilmanic District, pursuant to the requirements of the Commonwealth Land Bank.
This resolution will be placed on the final passage calendar for consideration at our next session of council.
And a resolution confirming the appointment of Michael Johns to serve on the board of the Zoning Board of Adjustment.
Council will be at ease. This resolution will be placed on the final passage calendar for consideration at our next session of council.
And a resolution confirming the appointment of Taiwa Nguyen to serve on the Zoning Board of Adjustment.
This resolution will be placed on the final passage calendar for consideration at our next session of council.
And a resolution confirming the appointment of Tanetta Graham to serve on the Zoning Board of Adjustment.
This resolution will be placed on the final passage calendar for consideration at the next session of council.
And a non-privileged resolution confirming the reappointment of James Snell to serve on the Zoning Board of Adjustment.
This resolution will be placed on the final passage calendar for consideration at the next session of council.
And a non-privileged resolution confirming the reappointment of William Bergman to serve on the Zoning Board of Adjustment.
This resolution will be placed on the final passage calendar for consideration at the next session of council.
And a non-privileged resolution confirming the reappointment of Ismail Shahid to serve on the Zoning Board of Adjustment.
This resolution will be placed on the final passage calendar for consideration at the next session of council.
And a non-privileged resolution confirming the appointment of Cheryl Gadsden to serve on the Zoning Board of Adjustment.
This resolution will be placed on the final passage calendar for consideration at the next session of council. The chair recognizes Councilman Isaiah Thomas.
Good morning, Council President. Good morning, colleagues. No bills or resolutions today. Thank you.
Thank you. The chair recognizes Councilmember Curtis Jones.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have one privileged resolution today.
Will the clerk please read the title of the privileged resolution?
And a privileged resolution honoring Eric D. Williams, founder of the Project Elijah Empowering Autism Foundation, for his work ensuring that children with autism are supported, included, protected, and empowered by creating the Autistic Person Area Street Sign.
This resolution will be placed on today's final passage calendar. The chair recognizes Councilman Ruth Landau.
Good morning, Council President and colleagues. I've got two privileged resolutions and one non-privileged resolution.
Thank you. Will the clerk please read the title of the privileged and non-privileged resolutions?
A privileged resolution declaring June 2024 LGBTQ+ Pride Month in the city of Philadelphia.
This resolution will be placed on today's final passage calendar.
And a privileged resolution authorizing the Committee on Legislative Oversight to hold hearings examining disparities experienced by the LGBTQ+ community and exploring solutions to achieving equity for the LGBTQ+ Philadelphians.
This resolution will be placed on today's final passage calendar.
And a non-privileged resolution declaring the City of Philadelphia's commitment to protect the rights and equal protections of all LGBTQ+ Philadelphians in light of recent increase in attempts to restrict the rights of transgender people.
This resolution will be placed on the final passage calendar for consideration at the next session of council. The chair recognizes Councilmember Ketty Lozada.
Thank you, Council President. Today I offer two non-privileged resolutions.
Will the clerk please read the title of the non-privileged resolutions?
A non-privileged resolution authorizing the Philadelphia Land Bank to dispose of 2839 North Oriana Street, located in the 7th Councilmanic District in accordance with the terms of Chapter 16-700 of the Philadelphia Code.
This resolution will be placed on the final passage calendar for consideration at the next session of council.
And a non-privileged resolution authorizing the Philadelphia Redevelopment Authority to execute and deliver to the Philadelphia Land Bank a deed conveying title to 2035 East Birch Street, located in the 7th Councilmanic District, pursuant to the requirements of the Commonwealth Land Bank Act.
This resolution will be placed on the final passage calendar for consideration in the next session of council. The chair recognizes newly married Councilmember Jeffrey John Young. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. President. Today I offer one bill and one privileged resolution.
Thank you. Will the clerk please read the title of the bill and the non-privileged resolution?
An ordinance authorizing the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation to approve the construction, ownership, and maintenance of a proposed set of non-standard bollards at 615 North Broad Street, Philadelphia, PA 19123, under certain terms and conditions.
This bill will be referred to the appropriate committee.
And a privileged resolution recognizing May 2024 as Building Safety Month in the city of Philadelphia.
This resolution will be placed on today's final passage calendar. The chair recognizes Minority Leader Brooks.
Thank you, Council President. I have no resolutions to introduce today.
Chair recognizes Councilmember Jim Harity.
Council President, I have no bills or resolutions today.
Chair recognizes Minority Whip O'Rourke.
Thank you, Council President. No bills or resolutions to introduce.
Chair recognizes Councilmember Driscoll.
Morning, Mr. President. I have one non-privileged resolution introduced on your behalf.
Thank you. Would the clerk please read the title of the non-privileged resolution?
A non-privileged resolution approving the appointment of Richard Harris to the Board of the Southeastern Pennsylvania Transportation Authority.
This resolution will be placed on the final passage calendar for consideration in the next session of council. The chair recognizes Councilmember O'Neill.
No bills or resolutions, Mr. President. Thank you.
You're welcome. The chair recognizes Councilmember Squilla.
Thank you, Mr. President. 3 non-privileged resolutions.
A non-privileged resolution authorizing the Philadelphia Redevelopment Authority to execute and deliver to the Philadelphia Land Bank a deed conveying title to 1900 East Lehigh Avenue located in the 1st Councilmatic District pursuant to the requirements of the Commonwealth Land Bank Act.
This resolution will be placed on the final passage calendar for consideration in the next session of council. Council will be at resume.
And a non-privileged resolution approving the First Amendment to the redevelopment agreement of the Philadelphia Redevelopment Authority for the redevelopment and urban renewal of a portion of the New Kensington Fishtown urban renewal area, identified by house number and street address as 2451 through 2453 Frankfurt Avenue, and authorizing the Redevelopment Authority to execute the First Amendment to redevelopment agreement with BMK Properties, LLC, and to take such action as may be necessary to effectuate the First Amendment to the redevelopment contract.
This resolution will be placed on the final passage calendar for consideration in the next session of council.
And a resolution appointing Brianna Wilkins to the Board of Directors for the Old City Special Services District.
This bill will be referred to the appropriate committee. This resolution will be referred to the appropriate committee. The chair recognizes Deputy Whip Cindy Bass, council member.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no bills or resolutions today.
Chair recognizes Councilmember Nina Ahmad.
Thank you, Council President. I have one privileged resolution.
Will the clerk please read the title of the privileged resolution?
A privileged resolution recognizing and celebrating the 2024 Philippine Independence Week celebration in Philadelphia, taking place from June 1st to June 15th.
This resolution will be placed on today's final passage calendar. The next order of business is reports from the committee. The chair recognizes Councilmember Jones for a report from the Committee on Public Safety.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Committee on Public Safety offers 3 bills with a favorable recommendation.
Council will be at ease. We will resume. Councilman Curtis Jones, reports from Committee of Public Safety.
The Committee on Public Safety offers 3 bills with a favorable recommendation.
Thank you very much. Will the Chief Clerk please read the report?
The Committee on Public Safety, to which was referred Bill Number 240280, entitled Amending Chapter 10-2200 of the Philadelphia Code, entitled Hate Crimes, to expand the scope of qualifying crimes under certain terms and conditions, respectfully reports it has considered the same and returns the attached bill to council with a favorable recommendation. And Bill Number 240330, entitled Amending Chapter 21-1200 of the Philadelphia Code, entitled Citizens Police Oversight Commission, to modify the procedure by which members of the Citizens Police Oversight Commission may be removed, providing a procedure to suspend members and clarifying terms in that chapter, all under certain terms and conditions, respectfully reports it has considered and amended the same and returns the attached bill to council with a favorable recommendation. And Bill Number 240472, entitled Amending Chapter 10-2000 of the Philadelphia Code, entitled Unlawful Manufacture of Firearms, to add restrictions relating to rate of fire acceleration devices, all under certain terms and conditions, respectfully reports it has considered the same and returns the attached bill to council with a favorable recommendation.
The chair recognizes Councilmember Jones for a motion.
Yes, Mr. President, I move that the rules of council be suspended to prevent first reading of the aforementioned bills read by the Chief Clerk.
It has been moved and properly seconded that the rules of council be suspended so as to permit the consideration of the bills just read by the chief clerk at today's session of council. All those in favor of the motion will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, the ayes have it. The motion carries, and bills number 240, 280, 240, 330, and 240, 472 will be placed on our first reading calendar for today. The chair recognizes Councilmember Jamie Gaudier for a report from the Committee on Housing, Neighborhood Development, and the Homeless.
Thank you, Council President. First, I wanted to take a moment to acknowledge the presence of the Honorable Janie Blackwell, Ms. Thelma Peak, and anyone else who's come. Ms. Thelma Peak, and anyone else who's come today to speak on the resolution honoring the late State Representative Jim Roebuck. Next, the Committee on Housing, Neighborhood Development, and the Homeless reports out one bill with a favorable recommendation.
Thank you. Will the chief clerk please read the title of the bill? Report, please.
The Committee on Housing, Neighborhood Development, and the Homeless, to which was referred Bill Number 240060, entitled Amending Chapter 9-1100 of the Philadelphia Code, entitled Fair Practices Ordinance, Protections Against Unlawful Discrimination, to clarify and enhance protections against housing discrimination for housing assistance program participants, to modify certain procedures for investigation of housing discrimination complaints and conciliation, appeal and election of civil action of all complaints filed with the Commission, and to make related technical changes, all under certain terms and conditions, respectfully reports it has considered and amended the same and returns the attached bill to Council with a favorable recommendation.
The chair recognizes Councilman Jamie Gaudier for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the rules of council be suspended to permit first reading this day of the bill just read into the record by the chief clerk.
It has been moved and properly seconded that the rules of council be suspended to permit the consideration of the bill just read by the chief clerk at today's session of council. All those in favor of the motion will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, the ayes have it. The motion carries, and bills number 240060 will be placed on our first reading calendar for today. The next order of business is the consideration of the calendar. I note that the bills just reported from committees with the suspension of rules have been deemed to have had a first reading. These bills will be placed on the second reading and final passage calendar for the next session of council. As there are no additional bills on the first reading calendar, the chair recognizes Majority Leader Gilmore Richardson for the purpose of calling up bills and resolutions on the second reading and final passage calendars.
Thank you, Mr. President. The following bills and resolutions are being called up from the second reading and final passage calendars today. Numbers 240030, 240510, 240516, 240518, 240220-A, 240241, 240336, 240005, 240187, 240303, 240383, 240423, 240425, 240431, 240435, and 240245. The following bills and resolutions on the calendar are being held: 240068, 240059, 240376, 240370, 240428, and 240061.
Thank you. Before considering these bills and resolutions, we will consider public comment as follows. Your public comment must concern matters on the second reading and final passage calendars for possible action at today's council session. All speakers must sign up in order to testify. If you have not already signed up for today's session, please do so now by giving your name to Ms. Hassan at the table outside the rails to my left. Once you have signed up, you will be called in the order in which your name appears on a sign-up sheet. Under ideal circumstances, public commenters each will have 3 minutes to speak. However, this time limit may vary from session to session. Due to our volume today, the time limit will be 2 minutes. In order to be fair to all those wishing to speak, I intend to hold faithfully to the 2-minute limit. When you begin speaking, you will see a green light on the podium. When there are 30 seconds remaining to your time, the light will turn yellow, which is your reminder to conclude your remarks. Once 2 minutes have passed, the light will turn red and the sergeant at arms will disconnect the microphone. At that point, please yield the podium to the next speaker if you have not done so already. I also reserve the right, pursuant to our rules of council, to limit repetitious comments on the same matter. I will now ask the chief clerk to please read the name of our first speaker.
Sharon Hildebrandt, may Morlana Moore, Sue Wasserfrog, and Abrian Reyes Pardo also make their way to the podium. Sharon Hildebrandt.
Good morning. My name is Sharon Hildebrandt, and I'm here on behalf of Brewerytown Garden to speak in support of Bill 240187. The bill will allow the Philadelphia Land Bank to exercise its right to be sole bidder at tax sale under the condition outlined in the bill and enable the land bank to protect community gardens like ours. Brewerytown Garden is a community-run nonprofit in the 5th Council District. Our half-acre garden provides space for over 75 residents to grow produce, and we generate 5,000 pounds of food each year. We like to say, though, that we are more than a place to grow food, as growing community relationships is of equal value. Each summer, we lead no-cost weekly programming aimed at children, families, and seniors, including art, nature, cooking, yoga classes, game days, blood pressure checks, jazz concerts, and so much more. We also are home to the neighborhood's only farm stand, where we sell produce at below market value. And we've been doing this since the days when we didn't have a grocery store in the neighborhood. We are fortunate that half of our garden was preserved by Philadelphia Parks and Rec and the Farm Philly program in 2015, but securing the remaining 5 parcels has been a struggle. At one point, the hope was that the land bank would absorb all 5, but 2 of them went to market in 2021. Neighborhood Gardens Trust was able to secure these 2 parcels, but at a great cost. We had to win a competitive state grant and crowdsource tens of thousands of dollars in order to acquire them for $175,000. The 3 remaining unsecured parcels have been in the land bank for almost a decade. We've been able to do some upgrades to these lots, but we can't do the most important thing, which is to replace the dilapidated sidewalk. I'm here to urge council to ensure land bank works better for the community gardens. We have a thriving community hub, and we hope to flourish for generations to come. Land security is the way to that path. Thank you.
Marlana Moore.
Hi, I'm Marlena Moore. And good morning. I'm here speaking on behalf of Neighborhood Gardens Trust, Philadelphia's land trust for the preservation of community gardens and community managed open spaces. I also want to support resolution number 240187, which will allow the land bank to exercise its priority bid at sheriff's sale and resume property acquisitions. The resolution is essential for preserving many community gardens located on privately owned tax-delinquent properties, especially for the 80-plus garden parcels that were part of last year's U.S. Bank lien buyback. Over the past month, many fellow advocates and supporters have sat in this room and shared with City Council members about the importance of permanent preservation for community gardens. For the urban agriculture hearing, for NGT's Executive Director, Jenny Greenberg's appointment to the Land Bank Board, and about this resolution. Passing this legislation is an important step to preserve our city's many incredible gardens that are making Philadelphia healthier, safer, and more resilient, and we encourage you to pass the bill today. As a next step, we ask for your help to ensure that the land bank sees the disposition of these parcels through to the communities who have been stewarding the land for decades. It's clear from the recently published PHDC annual report that 59 pending garden disposition applications awaiting settlement, things just aren't working since the 2019 disposition policy was adopted. For us, even with strong council support in meeting the city's requirements, we have been unable to go to settlement for 10 gardens on city-owned properties. For some, we submitted applications over 4 years ago. I want to ask for your support for you to use the tools and resources available to you as city council members to help us resolve this impasse so we can provide land security and support the many community gardeners who invest sweat, blood, and tears into nourishing and beautifying our city. Thank you.
Sue Wasserfrog.
Sue Wasserkrug. Good morning, City Council, and thank you for the opportunity to speak in support of Bill 240-245, which would make the eviction diversion program permanent. My name is Sue Wasserkrug, and I'm the Director of Mediation at Chorus Services, a nonprofit resource center that has served the Philadelphia community for over 50 years. We have an entire department that is dedicated to partnering with the city and other nonprofits to implement the eviction diversion program. The aim of EDP is to support both landlords and tenants as they work together to create mutually beneficial solutions and to strengthen their rental relationship. The program accomplishes this through mediation, targeted financial assistance, and resources to enable landlords and tenants to resolve their disputes through direct negotiation. The program has proven to be highly effective. Nearly half of all renters who completed the program did not have an eviction filed against them. In the most recent phase of the program, nearly 70% of all cases with a completed mediation reached an agreement. And Philadelphia is one of a small handful of jurisdictions where eviction filings have not returned to pre-pandemic levels. This is in large support due to EDP. Eviction diversion begins when landlords complete an online application. Because of the novelty and complexity of the program, we offer easily accessible landlord liaison support throughout the diversion process. We review 500 to 600 EDP applications weekly while managing nearly as many calls, texts, and emails, mostly from landlords and their agents. We schedule and process 50 to 80 mediations per week. Almost all are handled by trained volunteer mediators. We provide intensive support throughout the process, regardless of the track, whether it's mediation, targeted financial assistance, or direct negotiation. Landlords tell us they are grateful for this program, which supports them in their goal of keeping their tenants, recouping lost rental income, and avoiding the stress and expense of court. Tenants are grateful, too, for avoiding the trauma of eviction. And it's not just landlords and tenants who are winners. The court benefits from more manageable dockets, and the entire community benefits by making a real difference in our efforts to combat housing insecurity and social inequality. Thank you.
Abraham Reyes-Pardo.
Hi, good morning. My name is Abraham Reyes-Pardo. I serve as the VP of Housing for the Urban League of Philadelphia, which is a 107-year-old civil rights organization. I'm here to provide comment regarding Bill number 230245 about the extension of the nationally recognized eviction diversion program. Much has been said about the impact of the program, including its capacity to reduce eviction filings and how it provides much needed financial support for landlords and tenants. As a housing counselor, there's only one metric I often think about, and that is the benefit of keeping people housed at a time when affordable housing is scarce. The eviction diversion program fosters a healthy housing market at a time when private equity firms across the country are exacerbating its conditions, specifically referring to the massive multi-billion-dollar financial instruments used to buy up housing units with cash, then raising rents, evicting tenants, and skimping on things like ordinary maintenance and pest control in order to maximize returns for shareholders. The United Nations has now linked these instruments to a level of market distortion that's created a global housing affordability crisis. Congress has introduced legislation to curb the practice, which comprised of 28% of all U.S. home sales in 2022 alone, according to the Pew Charitable Trust. We don't often think about Philadelphia as a modern metropolis that it has become. reemerging as a true survivor of the post-industrial crisis that afflicted many big cities back in the 70s, which also means Philadelphia and its residents are being confronted with 21st century challenges, equally impacted by big data and algorithm segregation. The eviction diversion program should continue to provide a safe space where we can take a pause collectively, where the information can be analyzed and concerns can be validated. Thank you.
May Councilwoman Blackwell and her guests make their way to the podium. We also have Saja Blackwell, Thelma Peak, and Alice Wright accompanying Councilwoman Blackwell. May Sabrina Geary and Siobhan Almodovar make their way to the podium as well.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. President. As always, let me first give honor to God and thank Him for the privilege and the pleasure of being here with all of you. This has still been my second home, and obviously I love it here. Thank you all. Thank you, Councilwoman Jamie Gauthier, for honoring us this way. Jim Roebuck, Dr. James R. Roebuck, was a special state representative. He worked hard and was committed to his community. The 188th district is always special to me. When it was created and they looked around for a public servant, they chose Lucian Blackwell. And Lucian Blackwell was involved in that seat for the rest of his life. He stayed there until he went there January 1976, and he loved it. And we are very, very proud and always committed to the 188th legislative district. He stayed there, came here when Charles Durham became a judge and served here, as all of you know. Jim Roebuck will be honored in Harrisburg on January 3rd by Rick Wojcicki, the Speaker of the House, and others. So he'll be honored there, and he will be funeralized here in Philadelphia on January 7th at 10 o'clock, Calvary United Methodist Church, 801 South 48th Street or 48th and Baltimore Avenue. So we will be pleased. All who are interested, we welcome you to attend. We love Jim Roebuck. He served 35 years in the State House. Yes. His late wife was a school teacher. He was still tutoring a student every year at Lee School 47th and Locust, where I taught. And it is just an honor. And I thank you all for the privilege of making those few remarks and honoring our James R. Roebuck. Also, Dwight Evans will be honoring him on a federal level. So we should have local, state, and federal honors for this wonderful man. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you for the privilege to give a couple remarks about Dr. Roebuck. He was a founding member, board member, vice president of Peaks Little Angels Daycare Center. Excuse me, my name is Thelma Peak, president and founder of Peaks Little Angels Daycare, located at 52nd and Baltimore Avenue, where James R. Roebuck was the founding vice president of our board of directors and served for over 15 years as our vice president. And I'm honored to be a part of one of his missions was to get young black men in Southwest Philadelphia to have a college experience. So he developed the Call Me Mr. program, which he had helped to graduate over 85 to 100 black men in the Southwest Philadelphia from Cheney University. And I thank you very much for my opportunity.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sajda Purple Blackwell, and I am here on the behalf of the Honorable James Roebuck, State Representative. Thank you, Councilman Gauthier, for allowing us to be here today in honor of him. Thank you to my grandmother, Councilwoman Blackwell, for allowing me to be here as well. The Honorable State Representative James Roebuck was a West Philadelphia legend. He was a king to many and a leader. And he was a champion for education. And he continues to be that legacy will continue as he will be remembered as a champion in West Philadelphia for education. He inspires local actionists like myself to fight for education, to fight for financial literacy, because we know that that is his legacy and that will make real change in West Philadelphia so that we all can, have a legacy such as education and understand the importance of it. So I want to say thank you again as we fight again for financial literacy in honor of State Representative James Roebuck. Thank you.
Sabrina Geary, may Siobhan Almodovar and Christina Coleman also make their way to the podium.
Hello, and thank you, council members, for the opportunity to speak in support of Bill 240245 to make the Eviction Diversion Program, or EDP, permanent. My name is Sabrina Geary, my pronouns are she, her, and I'm a paralegal at Community Legal Services. For the past 2.5 years, I've had the unique experience of working hands-on with tenants going through EDP, as well as with EDP partners. The success of EDP is undeniable. In 2023, tenants and landlords that participated in mediation through EDP reached agreement in 70% of cases. I have seen the success of these mediations countless times. One tenant I worked with fell behind on rent due to her hours being cut at work through no fault of her own. The 30 days of EDP were incredibly helpful for her and her family. During that window of time, the tenant returned to her regular work schedule. At mediation with the landlord, we were able to work out a payment plan. The tenant paid off the arrears in full, avoided a court filing, and her and her family could stay in their home. Avoiding a court filing is a huge win, as an eviction court filing, regardless of the outcome, can prevent someone from accessing safe and affordable housing. I also want to use this time to thank the EDP housing counselors for their continued partnership. CLS works closely with housing counselors to provide ongoing support and training. This collaborative approach has opened a channel for housing counselors to directly refer cases to CLS that do end up in eviction court. These relationships effectively prevent evictions and secure housing, both before a court filing and even after, through continued representation. The Eviction Diversion Program is a testament to the strength communities and cities can have when we advocate for one another. CLS is looking forward to continuing to work with the Eviction Diversion Program and its partners. Thank you very much for your time.
Siobhan Almodovar, then Christina Coleman, and then Lincoln Farquharson. Siobhan Almodovar, Christina Coleman, then Lincoln Farquharson.
Christina Coleman. Good morning, members of City Council. My name is Christina Coleman, and I reside in Mount Airy, Councilmember Bass's district. I am a proud parent of 2 children, and also the proud granddaughter of Lillard and Bill Green, founders of I Believe School, at one point the largest African-American private school in Philadelphia, PA. I'm here to testify on Resolution 240518, which calls on the General Assembly to fully fund school-based health centers to improve outcomes for kids' physical and mental health. I applaud Councilmember Ahmad and Council President Johnson for leading this resolution. In supporting kids' health, I also want to ask Council to expand PHL pre-K by 250 seats in this year's budget. We have 2 children. One is here today, Nature, which has had the benefit of attending Philly Pre-K, and being a part of this program has supported the health of not just my daughter, but our entire family. Before we found Philly Pre-K, my husband and I were 2 stressed out new parents, and we were in between jobs and had 2 young children that we had to care for and not enough support to help us figure things out, even when we wanted the best for our daughter. The nonstop demands of parenting on a tight budget left us feeling burnt out and exhausted. We wanted to broaden our daughter's social, emotional development and expand our parental network, but we just didn't have the capacity. Philly Pre-K offered a sustainable path forward. Our daughter is now thriving socially and emotionally, making new friends, expanding her language by learning Arabic and communication skills, writing her name, and even engaging in public speaking, and coming with me on these fun experiences. She explores the world through field trips and deepens her understanding of diversity by learning about different cultures. Through Philly Pre-K, we've built connections with other families, enjoyed play dates, and even developed a deep interest in early childhood education advocacy. Hi. I want to direct council to the handout on their desk. Now is the time. This handout breaks down the percentage of kids across the city in your district that are not in pre-K. 58% of kids in Philadelphia are not in pre-K, which is about the share of kids in our district, District 8, without pre-K. This is 58% of families who may be facing the same struggles we faced and who have not had the benefit of Philly Pre-K that we've experienced. I'm thankful that Philly Pre-K exists, and I want to see more families supported like our family. Members of the City Council, we urge you to champion an additional 250 seats of Philly Pre-K in this year's budget so we can build strong Philadelphians from the start. Thank you. Want to say thank you? Now's the time. What's your name? It's okay if you're a little shy. It's okay. All right, we're gonna go with that.
Lincoln Farquharson, Jeremy Blattstein, then Jasper Liam.
Good morning. My name is Lincoln Farquharson. Well, today is a good day, it seems like, for education, because we had Ben Franklin here and we had Freeway. But we're in a lot of trouble. Thank you, council members, for granting me the opportunity to speak today. I work at Philadelphia Military Academy and I live in the 5th District. Both of them are in the 5th District. I'm testifying on Bill 240059, the ordinance to forgive property taxes for low-income residents. This bill, if enacted without an increase in the share of property taxes going to schools, will reduce the money transfer to the school district by $7.7 million after Mayor Parker's proposed tax shift. If you're going to reduce the property taxes being collected, you must make sure school funding is kept whole by raising the share of property taxes to the district receives to 60%. While I support efforts to relieve financial burdens for working families in Philadelphia, I want council to understand that this should not be done at the expense of the school district of Philadelphia. We're in a lot of trouble. Just within the first 2 weeks of March alone, at least 11 children were shot in the city of Philadelphia. Our children are killing themselves and each other because we are not giving them the type of support they need in the way that they need it. There are two main components in schools, the instruction and the climate. As a former special education teacher and now a climate manager, I am part of a group of professionals that include social workers, counselors, nurses, and behavioral health practitioners that are embedded in schools to give students the supports that they need to avoid being a victim or a perpetrator. Schools in Philadelphia are designed to support the whole student, academically, emotionally, and socially. Just 2 months ago, schools had to make hard choices on what to cut. Many principals opted to eliminate positions that dealt with the emotional and social support of the students and consolidate the work to at least meet the minimum standards of support. Principals shouldn't be put in a position where they have to choose between which student support they're going to cut. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Councilman Jamie Gaudier.
Thank you, Council President. Thank you for the comment and, the laudable goal of trying to get more money into the school system. I do think we have to have these conversations based on facts. It is important to note that a conservative estimate for the low-income tax freeze is about $2.5 million for FY25. It would literally be one of the smallest tax benefit programs offered in the city if we are to pass it, and it's for the benefit of low-income homeowners. And the other thing that I want to say is that given the recent report from TRF showing racial bias in the city's property tax assessment system, we have to be sure that we're not displacing Black and brown homeowners, because I don't know who else are going to go to the schools if we chase them out of the city by levying property taxes that they can't afford.
Jeremy Blattstein, may Jasper Liam, Julie Kolsler, and Dr. Kendra McDowell also make their way to the podium?
Good morning. I'm Jeremy Blattstein, a real estate developer with a vested interest in the growth and well-being of our city. I'm here today to express my support for Councilmember Gaudier's resolution number 240068, which aims to earmark the funds generated from affordable housing density bonuses for the Housing Trust Fund. Currently, these funds are deposited into the general fund, diluting their potential impact. By reallocating them to the Housing Trust Fund, we can ensure these density bonuses are specifically used to promote the development of affordable housing in neighborhoods experiencing growth and to assist current homeowners with necessary repairs. This targeted approach will make a significant impact addressing the housing challenges the city faces. I also want to take this opportunity to encourage the council to continue offering programs and incentives that promote the construction of affordable housing. Philadelphia needs a diverse range of housing options to accommodate its equally diverse residents. Over the past 3 months, I've consistently attended these meetings to share my perspectives on development in Philadelphia. My intention has always been to contribute positively and constructively to the discussions on affordable housing. If that intention has ever been misunderstood or not expressed clearly enough, I sincerely apologize. It is often difficult to convey the nuances of my views in this setting. I realize additional dialogue is necessary for a deeper conversation. I'm also new to this whole public speaking thing, which I'm sure every council member can relate to. As a member of the private real estate sector, I bring a different perspective to the table. I understand the complexities and challenges of development, and I believe that my insights can bridge the gap between public and private efforts to improve Philadelphia's housing situation. I recognize that my weekly speeches may not allow for the interactive dialogue that is essential for mutual understanding. However, I've had the privilege of discussing housing and zoning matters one-on-one with some of you. For those who have found my ideas intriguing or even absurd, I welcome the opportunity to continue the conversation in a more interactive and collaborative environment. In conclusion, I urge the council to support Councilmember Gaudier's resolution to earmark funds for the Housing Trust Fund. Let's work together, building a strong foundation that ensures Philadelphia remains a city where everyone has access to safe, affordable housing. Thank you.
Jasper Liam, Julie Kosler, and then Dr. Kendra McDowell.
A little shorter. Good morning, everyone. My name is Jasper Leam. I use they, he pronouns, and I am the executive director of the Attic Youth Center, which is Philadelphia's only independent LGBTQ youth program. I'm also a proud transgender Philadelphian. Don't hold it against me. I was born out in the burbs, but I've been living here in the city for, 25-something years. Every year, the Attic has hundreds of Philadelphia's LGBTQ youth come through our doors to find community, safety, support, and help. Our mission is to create opportunities for LGBTQ youth to develop into healthy, independent, civic-minded adults within a safe and supportive community, and to promote the acceptance of LGBTQ youth in society. We achieve this by daily through our life skills groups, our OST program, daily dinners, case management, counseling services, and providing trainings and professional development to organizations and companies throughout the greater Philadelphia region. We've been doing this life-saving work for over 30 years. Transgender and queer youth and young adults need us, by which I mean our city as a whole. LGBTQ youth make up an estimated 40% of homeless youth under 24, and our youth come to the Attic having experienced unstable housing, rejection by families, friends, teachers, and service providers. 1 in 4 of our youth at the Attic are currently experiencing homelessness or unstable housing, and we know that that looks different for young folks under 24 than it does for older adults. More than half of our youth have a history of unstable housing because they cannot afford the same community supports, or they are not afforded the same community supports as their cisgender and heterosexual peers. They come to the Attic because they are not safe in other spaces. I applaud City Council for these resolutions to demonstrate support for our LGBTQ communities, youth and adults alike. But as this support comes, it also must come with real action. I'm proud that Philadelphia has included appropriate use of chosen names and pronouns for transgender and gender diverse youth. But little is done when youth continue to experience discriminatory behavior and pushing them further into the margins. And we are smart people in this room. We know what happens when we have disenfranchised youth that are rejected by families and by the city workers that are supposed to have their backs. So this Pride Month and every day, I encourage you to see our fine city the way our youth do. Every time you check an M or F box, every time you use a public bathroom, every time you fill out a form or have to go to work or show an ID. We're here every day, and we're proud every day. Thank you.
Julie Kosler, Kendra McDowell, and can Kate Dugan and Marta Gutenberg also make their way to the podium?
Of the Pennsylvania School-Based Health Alliance. Okay. Thank you, Council President Johnson. Thank you, Council Member Nina Ahmad, for introducing the resolution, and for all of City Council for the consensus and clarity in support of the resolution, calling on the Pennsylvania Legislature to fund school-based health centers in the state budget. Health problems are a leading cause of absenteeism in Philadelphia and Pennsylvania. Asthma is considered the leading cause of absenteeism across the country. In Philadelphia, 25% of students have asthma. For more than half of them, their asthma is not well controlled. Asthma is also the leading cause of hospitalization and ER visits. For children that have Medicaid insurance, that costs taxpayer dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars every year. School-based health centers send students back to class when they cannot breathe. And certainly do not send them to the hospital. And this is why 30 plus states fund school-based health centers, fund the gaps in school-based health centers. School-based health centers are the leading way to advance health and education equity, but we must invest in them, and the return on investment will come back through the savings to Medicaid and taxpayer dollars, as well as students healthier in the seat, ready to learn. This is a great step forward for Pennsylvania. If the money is in the state budget, the Pennsylvania School-Based Health Alliance will work with the Pennsylvania Department of Human Services to quantify and evaluate this cost savings and hopefully cement Pennsylvania's support for school-based health centers for the future. Thank you.
Dr. Kendra McDowell.
Good morning. I'm Dr. Kendra McDowell, a pediatrician and the medical officer for the School District of Philadelphia. Thank you for the opportunity to speak in support of Resolution 240518, urging the General Assembly to allocate full funding for school-based health centers across the Commonwealth. Thank you, Council President Johnson and Councilmember Ahmad, for introducing the resolution. We know that students learn best when they are in school and feeling well, and that chronic health conditions are a barrier to learning for many students. In fact, in 2021, approximately 1 in 3 Philadelphia high school students reported that their physical health was not good. A high prevalence of obesity, asthma, and mental health conditions among Philadelphia youth, combined with limited health care in some of our communities, exacerbates disparities in health and educational outcomes. To maximize students' potential for future success, my office is committed to promoting and advancing health equity through school-based health centers. These health centers are a proven evidence-based intervention to increase healthcare access for students and improve health and educational outcomes. Students who have access to school-based health centers have improved school performance and are less likely to be absent or tardy. They are more likely to be up to date on their vaccinations and have improved management of asthma and other chronic conditions. School-based health centers are a win-win for the city's children and the children of Pennsylvania. However, to actualize these outcomes, school-based health centers must be adequately funded by the Commonwealth. Other states, including Delaware and New York, have funded and embraced school-based health centers to improve health and education equity for our students. It's time for Pennsylvania to do the same and fully fund school-based health centers. Thank you again for your support and advocacy. Thank you.
Kate Dugan, then Marta Gutenberg. May Eric Williams and Andre Carroll also make their way to the podium.
Good morning, members of council. My name is Kate Dugan, and I'm an attorney in the Homeownership and Consumer Rights Unit at Community Legal Services, where I represent homeowners struggling to afford their property taxes. CLS urges council to adopt the low-income tax freeze bill number 240059 as part of this year's budget cycle. The OPA will soon release assessed values for the 2025 tax year. We expect that many of the homeowners who saw significant increases to their bills in 2023 will experience yet another round of sticker shock in the coming weeks. Through council's work, Philadelphia is recognized as a national leader in offering property tax protections to those most at risk. This body understands that property tax policy is affordable housing policy. However, many homeowners fall through the cracks because they are too young to qualify for the senior freeze and they do not qualify for LOOP. The best way to avoid this displacement caused by the rising values is to enact the low-income tax freeze. This would be a vital lifeline to homeowners facing gentrification and struggling to afford their bills. Many of these homeowners are grandparents and parents with children in our public schools. As a public school parent myself, I am keenly aware of the need for the city school to be adequately funded. But that funding should not come out of the pockets of those who can least afford it, including predominantly Black and brown residents who are being pushed out of their neighborhoods because of rising property tax bills. The needs of low-income families and the need to fund our schools are not competing needs, and the city's budget should not be balanced on the backs of our most vulnerable homeowners. The low-income tax freeze is cost-effective, targeted, and timely, given the recent report released by the Reinvestment Fund and CLS demonstrating racial bias in property tax assessments. Cost analyses suggest that this program will cost far less than other property tax relief. Concerns about unpredictability on the budget can be alleviated by enacting a cap, such as the one on LOOP. Thank you for your time and your support of this important program.
Marta Gutenberg.
Good morning. My name is Marta Guttenberg. I'm going to speak about Resolution 240518, which asks the Pennsylvania General Assembly to fully fund school-based health centers. It sounds like a grand idea, but in fact, school-based health was normal in the old days before race-based redlining, disinvestment, and gentrification afflicted our city. Moreover, a full fair funding formula for schools has been approved and upheld by lawsuits and is still not reaching the students of Philadelphia. I note that there's a failure to follow laws and rules by, at this time, our state in providing what it should for Philadelphians. I also note that while our schools are not in the best shape, they are currently still standing. They are not being bombed by the government as schools in Gaza are being bombed. I call up the problem of lawlessness and ask the City Council to pass a resolution to stop the genocide in Gaza. Thank you.
Eric Williams. May Andre Carroll, Obona Hagins, and Kate Perez also make their way to the podium.
Good morning, members of City Council. Thank you, Councilman Curtis Jones Jr. for the invitation. My name is Eric Williams. I'm founder and CEO of Project Elijah Empowering Autism, also known as PIA, is an autism foundation that I created 20 years ago. It's named after my son Elijah, who's 26, and at the age of 3, he was diagnosed with autism. So PIA, we host free year-round education, recreation, and trauma resources for families in underserved communities. We're also working on getting pre-screenings and evaluations to kind of get us through the system. But I'm here today to talk about an initiative that I just released on January the 23rd. I came up with the idea of an autistic person area street sign on October the 26th, 2020. That was the unfortunate day that Walter Wallace's life was taken away from him. I grew up a half a block away from where the shooting took place, and I was on site. So while my community was in dire straits of what was going on, I put my advocacy hat on and thinking of different layers of protection that first-time responders could have came up with. So on January 23rd, I released this autistic person area street sign. Currently, there are 55 signs that have been installed in Philadelphia. My organization, excuse me, thank you. My organization, we just completed our 498th application. So we're looking to get that initiative going. We received interest from non-Philadelphia counties, which due to the Streets Department Traffic Engineering Division, they supported our mission. So now I just wanted to bring a public awareness. We're looking to roll this out in public schools around the system. So we're rolling out a program next fall where we'll designate 2 signs in each district, and we roll it out, and now as the teachers acknowledge autistic support classes around the city of Philadelphia. We just released that at Vere, Washington about 3 weeks ago, but I'm just here to serve. And I'm sticking with the Freeway theme. I'm considered the one-take Hove of autism. I do it in one take. I never write anything down, and we get it done. Leaving with a motivational quote: you can't lead the people unless you love the people. You can't save the people if you don't serve the people. So thank you for your time.
Andre Carroll, then Obona Higgins and Kate Perez.
Good morning, Philadelphia City Council. My name is Andre D. Carroll. I am the Democratic nominee for State Representative in House District 201, which covers Germantown, Logan, and West Oak Lane. First, I want to thank Councilmember Rolando, Council President, and their colleagues for inviting me here today, and also introducing the resolution to mark June as a celebration of Gay Pride. I also want to thank Councilmember Jamie Gaultier for honoring the life and legacy of State Representative Jim Roebuck. This moment has been a journey for many of us. My story is not likely in any other county in this Commonwealth. 248 years ago, the Constitution was signed right down the street. Since its existence, this Commonwealth has only elected 2 of me. In January, I will be inaugurated as the second openly Black gay state representative in Pennsylvania. Justice and liberation has always been included in the work of queer folks. Bayard Rustin, who was born in Westchester, Pennsylvania, was an anchor of the civil rights movement. The movement that allowed everyone in this room to be able to dine together, and folks like my grandmother, the opportunity to vote. While queer folks have always fought for justice, we have not always received it. Even after Obama's landmark executive order allowing same-sex marriage, which Rue and her wife Carrie was the first couple in Pennsylvania to have that opportunity. Pennsylvania has not always given equal protections to all of us. We could marry on a Saturday and then lose our job on that Monday. Our housing could be terminated for simply living with our spouses, even be attacked on public transportation for living out loud. I would like to shout out the LGBTQ activists and movement leaders that have made the protections possible right here in Philadelphia, as we became the first county in the Commonwealth to do so. Today is a step forward in the fight for justice. Homophobia exists in the same way that racism does, and I have experienced both of those. But I'll leave you with this. There is no crime in loving another person. It's simply just that, love. I want to thank all of you.
Obona Higgins, Kate Perez, Sharif Ahmed, and Nadira Griffin also make their way to the podium.
Good morning, everyone. Obona Higgins, 4th generation chattel slavery survivor. As the hall monitor calls me, the shadow council president. Of course, we should rename the West Oak Lane Library the Dwight Evans Library of West Oak Lane. A great place to go to learn. This will be one of the many libraries in the city where visitors will be able to not only go to read, but to listen to Philadelphia Freeway's music, the legendary hip-hop icon who was honored earlier this morning. Councilman Thomas, you mentioned one of his many songs. I would like to let you know about another song, which is one of my favorites, and is considered by Philly Word magazine a Philly anthem because of the theme. The theme is the theme that's permeating this city is structural racism. You're familiar with that, Council, aren't you? The roadmap to safer communities that called structural racism the root cause of gun violence. You're familiar with that, right, Councilman Jones? Here are the lyrics I want you to really pay attention to. Yes, the rock get down. You hot now, listen up. Don't you know cops' whole purpose is to lock us down and throw away the key? But without this drug-ish, your kids ain't got no way to eat. We still try to keep mom smiling, because when the teeth stop showing and the stomach start growling, then the heat start flowing. If you're from the hood, you feel me. Keep going, right? If my sneaks start leaning and my heat stop working, my heat in the house, then my heat start working, I'm gonna rob me a person. That's structural racism. That's a 13th Amendment violation. Philadelphia Freeway was warning us about what the conditions that he was living through, that he should not have had to live through because of the promise of the 13th Amendment. Charles Sumner, the man who got his behind beat over the 13th Amendment. Freeway was talking about it 100+ years ago and complaining about what he was saying should never occur to the descendants of slavery who saved this nation. We need a structural racism prevention month to go along with honoring Freeway for the one day. Philadelphians need to know exactly what structural racism is and how to attack it. Obona Higgins, your unseated council president, asking you very kindly to please listen to me and please call me back. Thank you.
Kate Perez, then Sharif Ahmed, and Nadira Griffin.
Bill 240245 tries to tackle displacement by eviction in our community. I want to talk a little bit about how violent it is to be kicked out of your home, but first I want to share I have 16 handwritten letters from our community members calling on the council to pass a permanent ceasefire resolution. They're addressed to the entire council, but there's one just for you, Councilmember Young. Where can I put these to ensure that you'll all have access? No, it's for the entire council. These are for all of you. Yeah. I also attached a ceasefire resolution draft from the Council of American and Islamic Relations. That draft is from December, so you're going to have to update the death toll from 17 to 45,000. And if you think some of your constituents might not like the wording, I'm sure you have their numbers and you can figure it out together. A petition for Philadelphia City Council to pass a resolution was uploaded at midnight, and it's already reached 56 signatures. Bill 240245 seeks to clarify the requirements that must be met before a landlord can evict a tenant. Evicted children face increased food insecurity, environmental hazards, and long-term physical and mental health problems. Evicted pregnant women are more likely to go into preterm labor, have a child with low birth weight, and may need neonatal intensive care unit access. Gaza is about the same size as Philadelphia, but twice as populated and half by children. Can you imagine if everyone in Philadelphia was evicted from their homes? Miscarriages are up by 300%, and anyone who can give birth is having babies that are born starving. They all need urgent access to NICUs, where they are regularly evacuated from as Israel bombs their hospitals, and any left standing are running out of fuel. I'm sorry, they have already run out of fuel. The lack of medical supplies is so intense that women are having hysterectomies to stop the bleeding. Jones, Bass, Harity, Gaudier, Phillips, O'Rourke, and Landau, whether privately or publicly, have stated that they would support a ceasefire resolution. Gilmore, Richardson, Thomas, Ahmad, Young, Brooks, and Lozada seem like they would support one. That's 13 right there. It's already veto-proof. And the other 4 might surprise me and stand with the size of humanity for a perfect 17-0 for a permanent ceasefire in Palestine. As one of the biggest and most influential cities in the world, we have the ability to empower smaller municipalities to pass their own ceasefire and arms embargo resolutions. You say we have no power, but ignore the weapons manufacturers and war bonds office right in our city. We have the power. Call for a ceasefire. Free Palestine.
Sharif Ahmed, Nadira Griffin. May David Lipscomb and Melissa Robbins also make their way to the podium.
Good day, councilmen and women. My name is Nadira Griffin. I am the Philadelphia Community Ambassador for all 10 councilmatic districts. I'm here, thank you for allowing me to speak today, and I'm here to speak on 240-187 in support of the ordinance amending chapter 16-700 of the Philadelphia Code, the Philadelphia Land Bank. The mass regentrification here in Philadelphia has led to homeowners, longtime homeowners and dwellers disproportionately displaced, depressed, darkened, and experiencing disparate treatment, which has led to a disarray and big real estate companies and businesses benefiting and preying on our demise. We the people, the longtime homeowners, renters, black and brown people, are asking that council put a limitation, a cap on the amount of properties and land sold here in Philadelphia annually to big real estate companies and businesses. In addition, we the people want council, the city of Philadelphia, to stop dwellers and outsiders defacing our home, Philadelphia. We do not want these tin can matchstick boxes that they are building here. We're used to brick houses. They are defacing our homes, coming in, changing the land, changing the way the houses are the direction of the houses, changing the streets. Most of you all were born and raised here in Philadelphia, councilmen and women. So I know that you all understand where I'm coming from. We want to see homes that depict us. We want to see the land that depict us. We no longer have a historical Philadelphia because we're not used to these houses built with tins and stick houses that's burning down easily. So we have children that we want to be able to tell our children and show our children, this is where I grew up. This is the school that I grew up at. This is where I can no longer use landmarks because you blink an eye and down the building is torn down. We need things that depict long home residents, Philadelphians, and council. It's up to you because you all control what goes on here in Philadelphia. So we want you all to take a deep look at this and make some type of ordinance where people build homes that depict Philadelphia. Philadelphia is the homeland and the mother place, the birthplace of the United States of America. Let's keep it that way because people from Montgomery County, Delaware County, Bucks County, they're not allowing outsiders to come into our home and deface it. They're not allowing us to come and build other things. They're keeping it historical, and we want Philadelphia to remain historical. Thank you.
David Lipscomb and Melissa Robbins.
Sorry about that. Bring something up here. It always works that way. As I'm doing this, my name is Dave Lipscomb, and I'm actually a former employee of Representative Robach. And one of the things that I liked about him, he was a good guy. And when people first met him, they would think he was an introvert. They would say, he's so offish. I mean, he stayed offish. Can you, as long as you can hear me, I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes, that's better.
Thank you. So as I was saying, my name is Dave Lipscomb, and I was a former legislative assistant to the Honorable James Robach in the 188th district. And one thing that most people, when they meet Jim, they would say, he's a little standoffish and all that. But Jim was an introvert, a smart guy. And a lot of times when you meet smart people, they seem a little introvert, but as you get to know them, they really can become your friend. And when I look at him, I said, wow, he has a doctorate. He's one of the most educated people in the legislature. But he didn't really brag that he was a doctor. He was a college professor. You know, when someone asked, this is my aunt said, who was his chief of staff, he said, what should I call him? Mr. Representative? Doctor? She said, doctor. That's Dr. James Roebuck. And the constituent said, I didn't know he was that smart. But that was one of the things about Jim. He understated who he was. And he continued that because of him being a doctor and also a former Drexel professor. He actually was a champion for education, as most people know. And by being that, as his career progressed, he was actually appointed to head FIA. Another thing, what most people don't know, because of being so, he wasn't out in the public a lot, but when he found it's something that really riled the community, he came out. I remember specifically he was going against the stop and goes that were proliferating in our community. He was out there marching and trying to put things together so that we can protect our community. And I don't know if I said this before, but he was a Rhodes Scholar when I get back to education, and most people didn't know that. So when another thing about him, and a lot of people don't say, at the time I had a small infant daughter, and I was working 3 jobs at the time. And so what happened was I would bring my daughter to work, and he allowed it. And she was only about less than a year old. And she slept in his office. You know, that was so kind of him to say, you can bring your child to work while you're working. And I really liked that about him. And in closing, I would just like to say, he was instrumental. By working in his office, he was instrumental for me getting my start in my career. And today I stand as a Chief Information Security Officer and Chief Privacy Officer for a company. And, you know, my thing is I will always remember him as a man of honor because he didn't put his hand in the proverbial cookie jar of corruption. So he leaves here clean. Thank you very much.
Melissa Robbins.
Good afternoon, members of council and listening audience. My name is Melissa Robbins. I serve as Vice President of Advocacy and Public Policy over Legislative Affairs for the Urban League of Philadelphia. Today, it was really important to come here and just say some words. And I just want to say thank you so much, Councilmember Gautier, for lifting up his name and honoring Mr. James Roebuck. Mr. Jim, humble, soft-spoken, he was a trailblazer who championed public education. Dr. Roebuck was a change agent. He was leading protests against the Vietnam War long before I was born in the late 60s and 70s. Today, we constantly, still in 2024, we speak about first black. Well, Mr. Jim was the first black president of his student union there at University of Virginia. Today, students here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania are able to receive the James Roebuck Scholarship Award to further their own education. Members of Americans for Democratic Action, many have passed and gone on to glory and retired. I received text messages and calls saying that they didn't know that Mr. Roebuck had passed and asked me to raise his name today. Every time I saw the gentleman, Tony, who was Mr. Roebuck's assistant, I would always ask him, Tony, how's Mr. Roebuck? 3 weeks ago, I was over at Malcolm X Park. Penn Medicine held a health festival. I said, Tony, how is Mr. Jim? He said, he's okay. Little did I know that would be the last time I'd be able to ask him. I just want to say, after 35 years of excellence in the Pennsylvania General Assembly, a giant has left us. Through his disciplined and committed work to education, equity, and equal rights, we thank you, Dr. James Roebuck Jr., fondly known as Mr. Jim. We thank you for demonstrating to us that excellence, leadership, humility, commitment, discipline, and kindness can exist in one person while leading a district, the 188th Legislative District. God rest your soul, Mr. Roebuck.
Council President, there are no other names for public comment.
That concludes today's public comment period. We will now consider the bills and resolutions on the second reading and final passage calendars. Would the Chief Clerk please read the title of Resolution Number 240030?
A resolution proposing an amendment to the Philadelphia Home Rule Charter, providing for the creation of the Office of Homeless Services Ombudsperson, and providing for the submission of the amendment to the electors of Philadelphia.
The Chair recognizes Majority Leader Kathy Gilmore Richardson for a motion regarding Resolution Number 240030.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for the adoption of the resolution.
Can I have a second? It has been moved and properly seconded that resolution number 240030 be adopted. All those in favor of the motion will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, the ayes have it. The motion carries. The resolution is adopted. Will the clerk please read the title of resolution number 240510?
A resolution authorizing the Special Committee on Kensington to convene for the purpose of investigating and addressing the barriers to accessing treatment beds in the Kensington area.
The Chair recognizes Councilmember Lozada for a motion regarding resolution number 240510.
Thank you, Council President. I move for the adoption of the resolution.
It has been moved and properly seconded that resolution number 240510 be adopted. All those in favor of the motion will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, the ayes have it. The motion carries. The resolution is adopted. Will the clerk please read the title of resolution number 240516?
A resolution approving the redevelopment contract of the Philadelphia Redevelopment Authority for the redevelopment and urban renewal of a portion of the Tioga urban renewal area, identified as a portion of 3030 North 20th Street, and authorizing the redevelopment authority to execute the redevelopment contract with New Cortland Apartments at Clearfield LP, and to take such action as may be necessary to effectuate the redevelopment contract.
The Chair recognizes Councilmember Cindy Bass for a motion regarding resolution number 240516.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for the adoption of the resolution.
It has been moved and properly seconded that resolution number 240516 be adopted. All those in favor of the motion will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, the ayes have it. The motion carries. The resolution is adopted. Will the clerk please read the title of resolution number 240518?
A resolution urging the Pennsylvania General Assembly to allocate full funding for school-based health centers and to give the Commonwealth's most vulnerable children an opportunity to thrive by providing complete mental and physical health in their schools.
The Chair recognizes Councilmember Nina Ahmad for a motion regarding resolution number 240518.
Thank you, Council President. I move for the adoption of this resolution.
It has been moved and properly seconded that resolution number 240518 be adopted. All those in favor of the motion will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, the ayes have it. The motion carries. The resolution is adopted. Will the clerk please read the title of bill number 240220-A?
An ordinance to amend the zoning maps by changing the zoning designations of certain areas of land located within an area bounded by Red Lion Road, the Montgomery County line, the Bucks County line, and Roosevelt Boulevard.
This bill having been read on 2 different days, the question now is, shall the bill pass finally? Will the Chief Clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Phillips. Aye. Councilmember Gilmore Richardson. Aye. Councilmember Gautier. Aye. Councilmember Thomas. Councilmember Jones. Councilmember Landau. Councilmember Lozada. Councilmember Young. Councilmember Brooks. Councilmember Harity. Councilmember O'Rourke. Councilmember Driscoll. Councilmember O'Neill. Councilmember Squilla. Councilmember Bass. Councilmember Ahmad. And Council President Johnson.
Aye. The ayes are 16. The nays are 0. Majority of all members having voted in the affirmative, the bill passes. The Chair recognizes Councilmember Isaiah Thomas.
Thank you, Council President. Sorry for the delay. I won't file all those resolutions I might have missed.
Thank you.
Sorry about that.
The clerk please read the title of bill number 240241.
An ordinance amending section 14-704 of the Philadelphia Code entitled Open Space and Natural Resources by changing the applicability of steep slope protection requirements for certain stream restoration activities, all under certain terms and conditions.
This bill having been read on 2 different days, the question now is, shall the bill pass finally? Will the chief clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Phillips. Councilmember Catherine Gilmore Richardson. Councilmember Gautier. Councilmember Thomas. It's fine. Councilmember Jones. Councilmember Landau. Councilmember Losada. Councilmember Young. Councilmember Brooks. Councilmember Harity. Councilmember O'Rourke. Councilmember Driscoll. Councilmember O'Neill. Councilmember Squilla. Councilmember Bass. Councilmember Ahmad. And Council President Johnson.
Aye, the ayes are 17, the nays are 0. Majority of all members having voted in the affirmative, the bill passes. Will the chief clerk please read the title of bill number 240336?
An ordinance amending Title 14 of the Philadelphia Code entitled Zoning and Planning by adding definitions and creating a new Chestnut Hill Lower East NCO in the area generally bounded by the SEPTA Chestnut Hill East line, Gresham Valley Drive, Germantown Avenue, Winston Road, Moreland Avenue, Devon Street, Ardley Street, and Springfield Avenue under certain terms and conditions.
This bill having been read on 2 different days, the question now is, shall the bill pass finally? Will the chief clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Phillips. Councilmember Gilmore Richardson. Councilmember Gautier. Councilmember Thomas. Councilmember Jones. Councilmember Landau. Councilmember Losada. Councilmember Young. Councilmember Brooks. Councilmember Harity. Councilmember O'Rourke. Councilmember Driscoll. Councilmember O'Neill. Councilmember Squilla. Councilmember Bass. Councilmember Ahmad. And Council President Johnson.
Aye, the ayes are 17, the nays are 0. Majority of all members having voted in the affirmative, the bill passes. Will the chief clerk please read the title of bill number 240005?
An ordinance providing for the submission to the qualified electors of the City of Philadelphia of an amendment to the Philadelphia Home Rule Charter to create the Office of Homeless Services Ombudsperson as set forth in a resolution and approved by council, fixing the date of a special election for such purpose, prescribing the form of ballot question to be voted on, and authorizing the appropriate officers to publish notice and to make arrangements for the special election.
This bill having been read on 2 different days, the question now is, shall the bill pass finally? Will the chief clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Phillips. Councilmember Gilmore Richardson. Councilmember Gautier. Councilmember Thomas. Councilmember Jones. Councilmember Landau. Councilmember Losada. Councilmember Young. Councilmember Brooks. Councilmember Harity. Councilmember O'Rourke. Councilmember Driscoll. Councilmember O'Neill. Councilmember Squilla. Councilmember Bass. Councilmember Ahmad. And Council President Johnson.
Aye, the ayes are 17, the nays are 0. Majority of all members having voted in the affirmative, the bill passes. Will the chief clerk please read the title of bill number 240187?
An ordinance amending Chapter 16-700 of the Philadelphia Code entitled Philadelphia Land Bank to allow interested parties to require open bidding with the land bank when the land bank seeks to execute special authority to acquire property at a sheriff's sale and allow prior owners to redeem the property when such special authority is exercised, all under certain terms and conditions.
This bill having been read on 2 different days, the question now is, shall the bill pass finally? Will the chief clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Phillips. Councilmember Gilmore Richardson. Councilmember Gautier. Councilmember Thomas. Councilmember Jones. Councilmember Landau. Councilmember Losada. Councilmember Young. Councilmember Brooks. Councilmember Harity. Councilmember O'Rourke. Councilmember Driscoll. Councilmember O'Neill. Councilmember Squilla. Councilmember Bass. Councilmember Ahmad. And Council President Johnson.
Aye, the ayes are 17, the nays are 0. Majority of all members having voted in the affirmative, the bill passes. Will the clerk please read the title of bill number 240303?
An ordinance authorizing acceptance of the grant to the city of 2 certain areas located on either side of Hunting Park Avenue, east of Whitaker Avenue, as slope easements under certain terms and conditions.
This bill having been read on 2 different days, the question now is, shall the bill pass finally? Will the chief clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Phillips. Councilmember Gilmore Richardson. Councilmember Gautier. Councilmember Thomas. Councilmember Jones. Councilmember Landau. Councilmember Losada. Councilmember Young. Councilmember Brooks. Councilmember Harity. Councilmember O'Rourke. Councilmember Driscoll. Councilmember O'Neill. Councilmember Squilla. Councilmember Bass. Councilmember Ahmad. And Council President Johnson.
Aye, the ayes are 17, the nays are 0. The majority of all members having voted in the affirmative, the bill passes. Will the clerk please read the title of Bill number 240383?
An ordinance authorizing the city's chief innovation officer or their designee to enter into a cable television franchise renewal agreement with Verizon Pennsylvania LLC, renewing the cable television franchise granted by the city to Verizon for franchise areas 1, 2, 3, and 4 of the city, all under certain terms and conditions.
This bill having been read on 2 different days, the question now is, shall the bill pass finally? Will the chief clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Phillips. Councilmember Gilmore Richardson. Councilmember Gautier. Councilmember Thomas. Councilmember Jones. Councilmember Landau. Councilmember Losada. Councilmember Young. Councilmember Brooks. Councilmember Harity. Councilmember O'Rourke. Councilmember Driscoll. Councilmember O'Neill. Councilmember Squilla. Councilmember Bass. Councilmember Ahmad. Council President Johnson.
Aye, the ayes are 17, the nays are 0. Majority of all members having voted in the affirmative, the bill passes. Will the chief clerk please read the title of Bill number 240423?
An ordinance authorizing the Commissioner of Public Property on behalf of the city to acquire fee simple title or lesser interest in real estate by purchase, dedication, donation, condemnation, agreement in lieu of condemnation, or otherwise, in parcels of land along the Schuylkill River and the Wissahickon Creek for public recreational purposes under certain terms and conditions.
This bill having been read on 2 different days, the question now is, shall the bill pass finally? Will the chief clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Phillips. Councilmember Gilmore Richardson. Councilmember Gautier. Councilmember Thomas. Councilmember Jones. Councilmember Landau. Councilmember Losada. Councilmember Young. Councilmember Brooks. Councilmember Harity. Councilmember O'Rourke. Councilmember Driscoll. Councilmember O'Neill. Councilmember Squilla. Councilmember Bass. Councilmember Ahmad. And Council President Johnson.
Aye, the ayes are 17, the nays are 0. Majority of all members having voted in the affirmative, the bill passes. Will the clerk please read the title of Bill number 240425?
An ordinance authorizing the Commissioner of Public Property on behalf of the City of Philadelphia to acquire a fee simple title or a lesser real estate interest in all or a portion of a parcel or parcels of land from the Philadelphia Redevelopment Authority, the Philadelphia Land Bank, and the Philadelphia Housing and Development Corporation, all under certain terms and conditions.
This bill having been read on 2 different days, the question now is, shall the bill pass finally? Will the chief clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Phillips. Councilmember Gilmore Richardson. Councilmember Gautier. Councilmember Thomas. Councilmember Jones. Councilmember Landau. Councilmember Losada. Councilmember Young. Councilmember Brooks. Councilmember Harity. Councilmember O'Rourke. Councilmember Driscoll. Councilmember O'Neill. Councilmember Squilla. Councilmember Bass. Councilmember Ahmad. And Council President Johnson.
Aye, the ayes are 17, the nays are 0. Majority of all members of having voted in the affirmative, the bill passes. Will the clerk please read the title of Bill number 240431?
An ordinance authorizing the Commissioner of Public Property on behalf of the city to acquire fee simple title or a lesser interest by purchase, dedication, donation, condemnation, agreement in lieu of condemnation or otherwise of certain parcels of land along the Delaware River in the Tacony-Holmesburg area for the purpose of making, enlarging, connecting, extending, operating, and maintaining public parks for recreational use under certain terms and conditions.
This bill having been read on 2 different days, the question now is, shall the bill pass finally? Will the chief clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Phillips. Councilmember Gilmore Richardson. Councilmember Gautier. Councilmember Thomas. Councilmember Jones. Councilmember Landau. Councilmember Losada. Councilmember Young. Councilmember Brooks. Councilmember Harity. Councilmember O'Rourke. Councilmember Driscoll. Councilmember O'Neill. Councilmember Squilla. Councilmember Bass. Councilmember Ahmad. And Council President Johnson.
Aye. The ayes are 17, the nays are 0. A majority of all members having voted in the affirmative, the bill passes. Will the clerk please read the title of Bill number 240435?
An ordinance authorizing the Commissioner of Public Property on behalf of the city to acquire fee simple title or a lesser real estate to all or a portion of a parcel or parcels of land situate at 121-25 East Chelton Avenue, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, all under certain terms and conditions.
This bill having been read on 2 different days, the question now is, shall the bill pass finally? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Phillips. Councilmember Gilmore Richardson. Councilmember Gautier. Councilmember Thomas. Councilmember Jones. Councilmember Landau. Councilmember Losada. Councilmember Young. Councilmember Brooks. Councilmember Harity. Councilmember O'Rourke. Councilmember Driscoll. Councilmember O'Neill. Councilmember Squilla. Councilmember Bass. Councilmember Ahmad. Council President Johnson.
Aye. The ayes are 17, the nays are 0. A majority of all members having voted in the affirmative, the bill passes. Will the clerk please read the title of Bill number 240245?
An ordinance amending Chapter 9-800 of the Philadelphia Code entitled Landlord and Tenant to modify requirements and authorizations related to the city's residential eviction diversion program, including associated changes to the landlord and tenant relationship, and to make certain technical changes, all under certain terms and conditions.
This bill having been read on 2 different days, the question now is, shall the bill pass finally? Will the chief clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Phillips. Councilmember Gilmore Richardson. Councilmember Gautier. Councilmember Thomas. Councilmember Jones. Councilmember Landau. Councilmember Losada. Councilmember Young. Councilmember Brooks. Councilmember Harity. Councilmember O'Rourke. Councilmember Driscoll. Councilmember O'Neill. Councilmember Squilla. Councilmember Bass. Councilmember Ahmad. And Council President Johnson.
Aye. The ayes are 16, the nays are 1. A majority of all members having voted in the affirmative, the bill passes. The clerk will please read any additional resolutions on today's calendar.
A privileged resolution honoring and celebrating the life and legacy of service of the Honorable James R. Roebuck, Jr., introduced by Councilmember Gautier.
Can we do a silent voice vote? Councilman Jamie Gardier, can we do a standing?
I don't know. What does that mean? What should I do?
You can move for the adoption of the resolution.
I move for the adoption of the resolution with a standing vote.
Will the clerk please read the title of the next resolution?
A privileged resolution honoring Eric D. Williams, founder of the Project Elijah Empowering Autism Foundation, for his work ensuring that children with autism are supported, included, protected, and empowered by creating the Autistic Person Area Street sign, introduced by Councilmember Jones.
The chair recognizes Councilman Curtis Jones.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for its adoption.
It has been moved and properly seconded that the resolution be adopted. All those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? The ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. Will the clerk please read the title of the next resolution, please?
A privileged resolution declaring June 2024 LGBTQ+ Pride Month in the city of Philadelphia, introduced by Councilmember Landau.
The chair recognizes Councilman Rue Landau.
Thank you, Council President. I move for the adoption of the resolution.
It has been moved and properly seconded that the resolution be adopted. All those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, the ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. Will the clerk please read the title of the next resolution?
And a privileged resolution authorizing the Committee on Legislative Oversight to hold hearings examining disparities experienced by the LGBTQ+ community and exploring solutions to achieving equity for LGBTQ+ Philadelphians, introduced by Councilmember Landau.
The chair recognizes Councilman Rue Landau for a motion on the resolution.
I move for the adoption of the resolution.
It has been moved and properly seconded that the resolution be adopted. All those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Excuse me. Those opposed, the ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. Will the clerk please read the title of the next resolution?
A privileged resolution recognizing May 2024 as Building Safety Month in the City of Philadelphia, introduced by Councilmember Young.
The chair recognizes Councilmember Young.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for its adoption.
It has been moved and properly seconded that the resolution be adopted. All those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, the ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. Will the clerk please read the title of the next resolution?
A privileged resolution recognizing and celebrating the 2024 Philippine Independence Week celebration in Philadelphia, taking place from June 1st to June 15th, introduced by Councilmember Ahmad.
The chair recognizes Councilmember Ahmad.
Thank you, Council President. I move for the adoption of this resolution.
It has been moved and properly seconded that the resolution be adopted. All those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, the ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted.
There are no other resolutions in my possession, Council President.
That completes our calendar for today. Are there any brief speeches on behalf of the minority? The chair recognizes Councilmember Brooks.
Can you hear me? All righty. So today I'm really excited because I reached 2 milestones that have been guiding the work over the last few years. First, this council body has made the eviction diversion program permanent in the city of Philadelphia. Protecting Philadelphia's renters has been the focal point of my work for several years, and it's been amazing to see this program evolve and grow. When we launched the eviction diversion program in 2020, there was a lot of opposition. But over the past few years, people have learned more about the program, and its popularity has really grown. We now know that the program is responsible for preventing tens of thousands of evictions a year. 45% of all landlord-tenant pairs have been able to resolve their issues outside of court, avoiding costly legal fees and preventing an eviction filing that blocks access to housing for years into the future. This program has become a national model. Second, we have established a priority bid for the land bank. And as many of you know, I see gardens and green space as life-giving resources for Philadelphia neighborhoods. By establishing and protecting these spaces, residents are building community, reducing crime, and improving their physical and mental health in primarily Black and brown neighborhoods across the city. But once again, these spaces are being bought by developers, and once they're bought, we can never get them back. So I'm really excited to be kind of setting the standard for housing justice and land justice here in council. And I'm also co-sponsoring Councilmember Landau's resolution declaring June as Pride Month in Philadelphia. As we head into Pride Month, I'm so grateful for the leaders that have fought for more safety and more freedom for queer trans Philadelphians. Their work has laid the foundation for one of the laws in reproductive freedom package that I passed last year. This law prohibits the sharing of any data that could be used to harass or prosecute someone for using reproductive care, and it makes Philadelphia one of the safest places in the country to access reproductive and gender-affirming health care. But still, we have so much work to do, especially when it comes to our queer and trans youth, who are more likely to be facing bullying, depression, homelessness, whether we're talking about housing, health care, education, or any other issue. We need to uplift the unique needs of queer and trans youth and insist on laws and policies that protect their humanity, their dignity, and their freedom. Thank you so much, Council President.
You're welcome. The chair recognizes Councilmember Nicholas O'Rourke.
As a new member of this body, I know some of my biggest votes are actually still ahead of me, but today is monumental in my book. Philly's eviction diversion program is now permanent. And it feels like one of the most important votes that I've cast in the last 5 months that I've been in this body because of the material difference this program has made since its introduction, which is a large part of why I wanted to run and to win election to this body, to join in bringing material wins to working people. I'm grateful to all of my colleagues who co-sponsored and saw this legislation through. It is an enormous moment for our city and a deliberate and measurable shift in how we treat renters who are in need. Extra thanks are in order for Council Members Brooks and Gautier, who worked to push this policy forward. We can make some noise for them. And they did it in a moment of real crisis. I have realized that politicization can happen more than once in a lifetime. The most recent example for me is actually the entirety of the year 2020. Folks probably ought to remember how discombobulated we all were in that year. I was still reeling from the changes that we had seen in those first months of the pandemic, that summer of protest and of passion, and timely enough, the tension that we were feeling about a presidential election. Sounds familiar. But this program started that September, and in some ways, for many, was a real leap of faith at the time. Members of this body have spoken about their skepticism when it first launched. But then, how seeing eviction diversion in action, seeing the 10,000 plus Philadelphians it's helped, changed their view. The manifested evidence of roofs over heads and relief for the people changed their view. That sounds like visionary policy to me. That sounds like good legislating to me. So thank y'all both for being down from the jump. I'm for allowing myself to be able to arrive here and join with y'all. I'm grateful to join the fight now and continue to learn from you. The eviction diversion program is also proof of a much bigger concept to me. Its success is proof that we can learn from the pandemic instead of trying to keep it in the rearview mirror. The emergency measures, as we call them, that led to an influx of social support during the pandemic, well, they don't all need to be emergency measures. Sometimes big disruptions reveal what opportunities you're overlooking or unwilling to see before. And I hope that we can consider that more when reflecting on 2020 and 2021, especially. Despite all the deep challenges of those years, I believe there are key lessons to learn locally, nationally, globally. And when we do that, we're in that Jeffersonian lane, if you will, toward a more perfect union when we learn from these things. Eviction diversion is a local success that has gone national, but what matters most is what it's changed here on the ground. There are many ways to quantify the difference this program has made, but a few facts sum it up, and I'll be real quick. There was 2,061 evictions in January 2020, and not 1 month since then has that number been matched. That's good news. And Philly hasn't hit its pre-COVID average for eviction filings in over 4 years. 4 years and hopefully never again, because there's no need to go back to the way that things were. Philadelphians who rent have been clear about how the program's mediation process has bought them time, has saved them money, has lifted the crushing weight off of their shoulders. In the housing community's hearing on the program that we heard from landlords who described eviction diversion as a real benefit that helped them stay true to their mission, especially with the targeted financial assistance that helps smooth out mediation cases. The coalition that has come together around this policy is clear evidence of what success looks like. Uniting factions within and without this body that may appear to be in opposition. And I hope to be a part of many, many, many more moments like this where we help fashion clear, material, measurable change that makes people's lives better. That's why we're here. And I'm so grateful for everyone who played a part in that. This is holy work, Council President. Good trouble, dare I say. And I'm happy to be in it with all of y'all. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Councilmember Curtis Jones.
Thank you, Mr. President. We don't have Freeway in West Philly. It's an unfortunate fact that we've had to live with. But this Saturday, we will have the Roots at the Mann Music Center. And we're gonna show up and show out, and we welcome everyone to come on out. Right down the street, there is a place called the Container Village, and there is a vibe. And if you're not at the Roots, come on down. We'll be playing Summer of Soul. Every one-line concert that the Roots ever give, we'll have that. There'll be food. There will be Black Thought. There will be purchasing opportunities from vendors that are in the village. So it's a vibe. Come on out. Do it with us. If you want a clean, safe place to go to the bathroom, we can provide that too. So all my members and all the folk within my voice, please come out, enjoy the weekend, enjoy the day, because we got the Roots in the 4th District. Thank you.
You're welcome. You know Freeway is from West Philly. I just want to let you know that, sir. He from your district.
He ain't in my district, is he?
District, yeah.
He is? Oh my God. He can come too now.
The chair recognizes Councilmember Jamie Gaudier.
Thank you, Council President. I'm going to add my voice to the chorus. Today, we voted to enshrine our eviction diversion program as the permanent law of the land, a critical step in our fight against housing insecurity. When coupled with rental assistance, the eviction diversion program is one of our city's most effective anti-displacement programs ever. And it is a racial justice program too, because an overwhelming majority of tenants who face eviction are single Black mothers. Thanks to the eviction diversion program, we have an average of 10,000 fewer evictions every year than we did pre-pandemic. That's 10,000 families who would otherwise undergo one of the most traumatic and destabilizing experiences possible, because a safe, stable, and affordable home is the bedrock of a successful life in healthy communities. As rent and housing costs continue to soar, we know that the eviction diversion program remains just as important for the safety and vitality of our neighborhoods as it was in 2020. So thank you to all of my colleagues for recognizing how important it is to keep this program working for our communities. I want to give a special shout out to my co-introducers, Minority Leader Kendra Brooks, Minority Whip Nicholas O'Rourke, and Councilmember Rue Landau. And thank you to our co-sponsors, Majority Whip Thomas, Deputy Majority Whip Bass, Councilmember Ahmad, Councilmember Jones, Councilmember Lozada, Councilmember Harity, Councilmember Driscoll, and Councilmember Squilla. Let's keep this pro-housing, pro-neighborhood momentum going by supercharging the eviction diversion program with a robust investment in rental assistance. Our targeted financial assistance program works in tandem with the eviction diversion program to keep families housed and landlords paid, but the demand already far outstrips the amount of funding available. The most affordable home tends to be the one you already live in. To defy displacement and stabilize our communities, we must expand TFA, not slash the city's contribution. I look forward to working with all of you on this as our budget process continues. On a more somber note, I would also like to take a few moments to honor the life and celebrate the memory of the late Honorable James R. Roebuck Jr., who passed away earlier this month. Rep. Roebuck served as a legislative assistant to former Mayor Wilson Goode, an assistant professor of history at Drexel University, and a state representative for West Philly's 188th House District for 35 years. Rep. Roebuck was a noted authority on schools and public education. He possessed an exceptional ability to form legislative coalitions and articulate nuances in policy proposals. During his 2 decades of service as the Democratic leader on the Pennsylvania House Education Committee, he fought to give our young people a high-quality education. He helped secure state funding for kindergarten programs, the Community College of Philadelphia, and local access to high-speed internet. Rep. Roebuck's beloved wife Cheryl taught music, and together they tutored students in reading at Lee Elementary. And in fact, Cheryl Roebuck was my little sister's music teacher when she was in elementary school. Rep. Roebuck was also a staunch supporter of women's rights, LGBTQ+ rights, labor rights, gun control, and the protection of animals and the environment. Rep. Roebuck led the Pennsylvania Legislative Black Caucus, which created a scholarship in his name upon his retirement. Outside of Harrisburg, Rep. Roebuck served as a board member at the Community College of Philadelphia, the Pennsylvania Higher Education Assistance Agency, and the Pennsylvania Historical and Museum Commission. I will always remember Rep. Roebuck for his intellect, passion for social justice, and commitment to public service. I am proud to honor this trailblazing West Philadelphian and champion of our young people with a resolution today. Thank you to Rep. Roebuck's family, friends, colleagues, and supporters for coming today to honor his life and celebrate his memory. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Chair recognizes Councilmember Kathy Gilmore Richardson.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Council President, and thank you, colleagues, for your support of the passage of the bill around the Office of Homeless Services Ombudsperson. Today I rise to speak about a bill that I introduced to remove the nonprofit vendor exemption. First and foremost, I want to sincerely thank Mayor Parker and her administration for their hard work and diligence to address the significant concerns regarding the Office of Homeless Services spending and operations. From calling for a forensic audit to when the mayor pulled us all together for a press briefing on April 22nd to share the findings of the Inspector General's draft report. I felt her urgency to address what we all know is a serious problem, not only with financial mismanagement, but also with quality of service. The mayor has made high service quality her most important priority, and I know that City Council shares and supports that goal. Mayor Parker has also stated unequivocally that we are no longer here to do business as usual, that our service delivery has suffered from doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. And I agree with her. In order to ensure we are taking the necessary steps to not only address the situation with the Office of Homeless Services, but also that we are in an open, transparent, and accountable government. With the release of the draft report, and we all have a copy on our desk, colleagues, the OIG listed a number of recommendations I was able to review, including recommendation 4, which is on page 14 of the report, to evaluate the scope of the nonprofit exemption. The draft OIG report stated, OHS created and managed a unique market for services that was fairly unregulated and not driven by pricing competition, with more than 150 nonprofit vendors. The lack of market controls gave OHS a certain freedom to work with their vendors on more of an informal and relationship-driven basis. I greatly appreciate all of the hard work that our nonprofit vendors do each and every day, and I do understand that this will be a significant change in the way they do business. I also know that our partners will want to support the city's attempts to be transparent and accountable with taxpayer dollars, resources that come out of the pockets of our hardworking residents. City contracting can be a cumbersome process, but I have seen instances where doing an RFP has created a better outcome for service quality. For example, when I worked with DHS to establish our community evening resource centers, I advocated for them to do an RFP process to ensure we were identifying community-based organizations who had the cultural competency to provide high-quality services to the families in their neighborhoods. Today, DHS has completed 4 rounds of RFPs for the search centers, and we have 6 vendors, all of whom are rooted in their local communities. Some of these vendors previously held DHS contracts, and others were new. It became a great opportunity for smaller nonprofits to benefit from a city contract. We need to be creating more opportunities for smaller organizations to benefit from city work. Additionally, we have seen repeatedly that the nonprofit exemption has created issues with compliance. Not only has OHS been identified as using the nonprofit exemption to create and manage, and I quote, the draft OIG report here, a unique market for services that was fairly unregulated and not driven by pricing competition. But there have also been other instances identified by the city controller of the nonprofit exemption allowing the city to do business in a way that favors certain providers. In the report issued in April, the controller cited the nonprofit exemption as a way the city avoided an open and transparent bidding process for the Community Expansion Grant Program. Additionally, in a report from July of 2021, former Controller Rebecca Reinhardt found that CBH inappropriately entered into a sole source contract under the nonprofit exemption. For years, this provision has been identified as a challenge to our goals of open, transparent, and accountable government. And once again, the unfinished draft OIG report, urgently and expeditiously released by the mayor, showed how this provision was central to OHS's financial mismanagement. The draft report also demonstrated instances where departments who do not have the ability to contract with nonprofit vendors without RFPs added onto contracts held by departments who do, which further complicates our ability to track spending and service quality. As our mayor says, we are one Philly, a city united, and our goals are the same: to create the safest, cleanest, greenest city in America that provides economic opportunity for all. The city plays a crucial role in providing that economic opportunity and in ensuring the highest quality services reach our residents. For all of those reasons, colleagues, I respectfully request your support for Bill number 240379. I know change brings fear. I know change brings fear-mongering, bullying, and more attempts for complacency. But change allows us an opportunity to improve and incorporate best practices in city government. I hope you will join me in adopting this recommendation from the draft, unfinished OIG report. Thank you, Council President.
You're welcome. The chair recognizes Councilmember Jay Young.
Thank you, Mr. President. Today, we on City Council passed a resolution recognizing May 2024 as Building Safety Month in the City of Philadelphia. Building Safety Month is an international campaign that was started by the International Code Council to raise awareness every year about building safety. Building Safety Month provides an opportunity to educate the public, professionals, and policymakers about the essential work of construction workers, and to me, more importantly, construction safety inspectors and building inspectors, about the impact of their efforts on safety in the community. So I just want to give a special shout out to ASME DC 2187, those building inspectors and those code officials over there who work tirelessly every day to keep our city safe and secure. Again, we want to give you a special shout out. We know our city is an old city, and you face challenges every day going out to inspect these properties and make sure that they're safe, to make sure that construction sites are safe, are being conducted in a workmanlike manner. So we appreciate you and all you do for our city. Thank you, Mr. President.
You're welcome. The chair recognizes Councilman Rulandow.
Thank you, Council President. have to add my voice to the super excitement of the permanency of the eviction diversion program. You know, when we were first working on these bills, I was on the administration side and working with Councilmember Gaudier and Brooks's office, along with others, to make sure that we got it right when we were doing it for the first time. So to me, this is a full circle moment of making this incredibly successful eviction diversion program permanent. But I would say, in order to make it even more successful, I will take a term from my colleague, Councilmember Gaudier, to say we got to supercharge it. And we currently have some money allocated for targeted financial assistance, rental assistance. We must do more. We must expand the rental assistance, the targeted financial assistance, to make sure that this program is not only successful for stopping an eviction, but keeps people long-term in their housing and as a part of their communities and neighborhoods. So thank you to my colleagues, and also thank you to the incredible advocates and tenants and landlords who have come to support this from day one. They're the reasons why we could make this happen, and they're the ones also who are doing the hard work on the front line. I also wanted to just take a moment to thank State Rep-elect Andre Carroll and Jasper Liam, the Executive Director of the Attic Youth Center, for coming out and speaking today in support of my three resolutions. I'm honored to be Philadelphia's first openly LGBTQ+ council member, and to me, this affirms the values that continue to make Philadelphia a beacon of inclusivity, diversity, and unwavering support for all of its residents. Today, I introduced a package of 3 resolutions aimed at 1, celebrating Pride and kicking off Pride Month; 2, protecting LGBTQ+ people here in Philadelphia from potential attacks at the state and federal levels of government; and 3, opening a conversation in City Hall about what that actually means in practice for Philadelphia's queer community, especially when it comes to the systemic barriers that our community faces. While Pride is meant to be a time of joy and celebration, it is also a time of action. Remember, the first Pride was a riot led by many, including Marsha P. Johnson, a Black trans woman. The LGBTQ+ community is facing an inflection point that I don't think we could have imagined 10 years ago, when marriage equality became the law of the land, and so many of us felt like there was no going back and we were moving on the path forward. There has been a noted rise of anti-LGBTQ hate and violence. Recent murders of trans people, such as Next Benedict in Oklahoma, and numerous Philadelphians, including Marquis MJ Jackson, Shantae Tucker, and Cherie Diamond Jackson McDonald in Philadelphia, are unacceptable, outrageous, and must be stopped. Black trans women in particular are disproportionately affected by violence, displacement, and discrimination. Right now, LGBTQ+ people across the country and right here in our Commonwealth are facing unprecedented attacks on our rights that threaten to strip back the progress we've made as a country, state, and city. Legislation is being introduced across the country to restrict our rights and launch attacks at our most vulnerable neighbors. As of this morning, the ACLU reports 515 anti-LGBTQ+ bills introduced nationwide in 2024, and 4 of them right here in Pennsylvania. Some of the proposals include book bans in schools for queer authorship or content, legislation at state and federal level that would limit the ability to live authentically, and restrictions on access to gender-affirming healthcare that have been proven to save kids' lives. To say the least, the stakes are high, so very high for our community, and especially for the LGBTQ youth who have found themselves the target of so much of this action. It is sobering to note that the LGBTQ+ young people are more than 4 times as likely to attempt suicide than their peers, a statistic that I hope will go down in coming years, and perhaps our actions here today and moving forward in City Hall can be a small part in making that happen. For that reason, I'd like to thank all of my colleagues who co-sponsored today's resolutions for being allies today. The message we are sending as a legislative body is clear. Pride isn't just a celebration, it is a reminder of the courage, resilience, and unwavering spirit of the LGBTQ plus community, which could not be more important than in 2024. By affirming to continue to protect LGBTQ plus people, regardless of what happens at the state or federal levels, we are sending a clear message: Philadelphia is no place for hate, prejudice, or discrimination. Our community, especially trans people, continue to face widespread discrimination, have a harder time accessing health care, and are finding employment, and suffer more mental health issues related to discrimination. That's why the Committee on Legislative Oversight will hold a hearing to examine the inequities experienced by LGBTQ plus people. This hearing will provide a platform for voices that are too often marginalized or ignored. I can't wait to hold them in the second half of the year. And I'm hopeful for the day in which every single member of the LGBTQ plus community can be their full, authentic selves and are not only accepted, but celebrated for who they are. There is so much great Pride programming happening across the city this year. I hope you'll join me on Sunday at the festival. We're having a table and we're registering people to vote, among other things. And next week on Thursday in the mayor's reception room as we hold a press conference announcing this new package of Pride resolutions. I look forward to seeing you all there. Thank you for allowing me a couple extra minutes. Council President, I appreciate you very much.
You're welcome. The chair recognizes Councilman Roulette, Ketty Lozada.
Thank you, Council President. Very briefly, because the setting in this room is always on polar setting. It's always freezing in here. So very briefly, the barriers to beds resolution passed favorably today. I want to say thank you to those who co-signed, Councilmember Harity, Squilla, Driscoll, Ahmad, and Jones. Our goal is to really break down the barriers and to allow people to really connect to those services when they say they're ready and when they need them. And so I'd like to ask my colleagues if there are people in your networks that you believe we've missed, that we've not had a conversation with, that can help us really figure out where are these beds, who are the providers, and what are some of the challenges or some of the success stories that they have experienced when individuals come to them for these types of services. If you know of any, please send them our way. We really want to make sure that we're able to capture all of the voices and all of those experts in the area of providing services where beds are required. Please send them our way. We're really looking forward to change the process and to make it an easier path for people to truly get into recovery. Thank you.
Thank you. There are no more speeches. On behalf of the majority, just want to say good job, everyone. The package of bills and the bills that we have passed as relates to moving the city of Philadelphia forward. The chair now recognizes Councilmember Thomas for a motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Council President. I move that council stands adjourned until Thursday, June 6, 2024 at 10 a.m. promptly.
It has been moved and properly seconded that council stand adjourned until Thursday, June the 6th at 10 a.m. All those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, the ayes have it, and the motion carries. Thank you very much.